Have your sports curiosity cured.
It's a hard bump there from Jokinen. Right jumps up on Hemming. Free by Baudouin. Looks down to O'Reilly. And O'Reilly to the side of the goal. Ripping it, knocks it down. Loose by scores. Baudouin puts Canada up by 2.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Defense all year long. It's too aggressive at this point of the game.
I agree with you. 12 consecutive completions for Chambliss. Going for 17. He has it. And another touchdown. Harrison Wallace having the night of his life.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
To Bouchard, 45 seconds. Dreisaitl to Hyman. McDavid in the middle. Cuts to his left. To the finishes after brilliant ballet work from Connor McDavid.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Good morning. It is Friday, January the 2nd, 2026. Happy New Year to everyone out there. Thank you very much for tuning into the Kevin Karius Show this morning. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin here on a Feel Good Friday, on a Playlist Friday, as we take you into the weekend with plenty to get to over the course of this program. Canada in quarterfinal action at the World Junior Hockey Championships. College football playoff, all 4 games, some stunners, some upsets, some lopsided victories, and the Oilers end 2025 on a sour note, losing back on Wednesday night at the hands of the Boston Bruins from Rogers Place. Welcome in to the program here just after 7 o'clock here on Sports 1440, coming to you live from inside the Stingray Studios at West Edmonton Mall. You can watch us on YouTube, but Sports 1440 AM is the name of the channel. Be sure to give us a subscription, drop us a like. While you're there, we're also, of course, streaming video on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. And if you're just listening, plenty of options there as well. Not only the traditional AM dial, but iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and right on our own website as well, sports1440.ca. If you do miss any portion of this morning's show, you can always go back, catch up via podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, you name it. You can subscribe, select the auto download feature. You never have to miss a second of the program. Yeah, it's crazy. After just one day off, it's amazing how much you fall behind the 8 ball in terms of the sporting world, because it was a action-packed New Year's Eve with Canada beating Finland to secure the top seed in their pool at the World Junior Championships down in Minnesota. The Oilers lose to Boston. Second straight game. They definitely looked like the second best team on the ice. Unfortunately, no goaltender bailing out this time around. Connor Ingram did not have his best stuff against the Bruins. And the college football playoff between New Year's Eve and yesterday, wow. Some unexpected results. Number 1, Indiana taking care of business against Alabama to move through to the semifinals, amongst the other results. Let's dive into all that and plenty more with our co-host here on a Friday morning. He is a Grey Cup champion. He is a former CFLer, longtime double-year green and gold man, all-decade team, not just for the Double E, but for the CFL as well. He is the real deal, Eddie with Pipes of Steel, joining us on a Friday morning. Eddie, how are you? Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Man,
thanks for being here.
That's one of the best ones yet, Duke.
Not
I
bad.
got KK. If you're listening, you got some work to do. You got to match that. I'm doing great, Duke. I'm doing great. Good to be with you this morning, man. Lots to talk about in the sporting world. Holy smokes.
And like, if we rewind to Wednesday, everyone was looking forward to the Team Canada Olympic roster announcement, right? And rightfully so. Now, we spent almost, after that came out at 10 o'clock, pretty much the entire last hour of this show, the next hour of Fantasy Frenzy, and you can just carry that over all the way through when Connor wrapped up the Gregor Show at 6. Like, that was top of mind for everybody, even with the Oilers playing that night. So now here we are. We've almost set that on the back burner and refocused on World Juniors, Oilers, mentioned the college football playoff. We've got week 18 of the NFL kicking off tomorrow with a couple games. 3 games in particular, the standalone ones that I think really grab people's attention, but there is plenty of jockeying for position inside each conference's playoff picture, matchups to be decided for the wild card round, and the number 1 seeds still to be decided in each conference as well. So when you roll all that into one ball, here being a 4-hour morning radio show on a Friday morning, we're going to have our work cut out for us to get through it all here over the next 3 hours, 45 minutes or so.
Well, they got the right man in the saddle whenever someone chooses to take their various vacations, one of many.
Vacation, I don't even think properly applies to Karius' absence this morning, because I think he's probably just at home sitting on his couch listening to the show.
Having a coffee.
Just having a coffee. Yeah. Maybe he's been up, got maybe something going on the slow cooker or something for the rest of the weekend. Nice pot of chili, or
he's probably doing some canning.
The best soup you've ever had in your whole life, regardless of what flavor it is. So, listen, Kevin works diligently, very hard. One extra Friday off. We're not going to hold it against him. Karius will be back in on Monday to catch us up on everything we're kind of about to tee up here over the weekend. You can get in the conversation with us as well, whatever it is you want to talk about. Everything that we just kind of listed out as the headliners. If there's something else grabbing your attention, let us know. 1-833-401-1440. That's the text line. You can certainly give us a call if you're so inclined as well. It's the same number there, 1-833-401-1440. And if you want to get your request in, it is Playlist Friday, the 1st of 2026. I'm going to be getting used to doing that. More importantly, saying it is one thing. You don't often say the year when you're talking, but when you're writing stuff down, right, Eddie? Like for me, when I'm normally on the other side of the board, we'll introduce the boys in a second. I'm typing out like the podcast titles or the show outlines or sending emails and stuff, and you're putting the dates on things. First of all, the month changes, which is one thing in of itself, but now a new year at the end of all of them too. Yeah. It's transition time.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Same thing for my work.
All your invoices and stuff.
And I just document everything. I take notes of every conversation I have with all my customers. And the dates, they always mess me up. Mm-hmm. Speaking of dates too, Duke, we should listeners, I should say, text in and New Year's resolutions.
I like that.
I would like to hear some resolutions, maybe for yourself personally, maybe for your favorite sports teams. And Duke, I want to hear some of your resolutions.
I like that a lot, Eddie. Yeah. What do you think the Oilers' New Year's resolution should be? And that might be a good place to start, Eddie, is rewinding the clock a little bit to Wednesday evening, downtown Edmonton. An Eastern Conference opponent in the building, the Boston Bruins, a team that has been struggling as of late, and in the midst of a Western swing road trip. They kind of came in and showed the Oilers the business a little bit. Listen, the Zach Hyman goal, Connor McDavid, another one that will be on next year's highlight reel roll for the best plays of the year. It's the words are becoming fewer and fewer that haven't already been said, if they exist at all at this point, to describe what this player is capable of. And that was just such a brilliant display of it, the stick handling, the vision. And I'll say this, Eddie, because I know you'll be able to appreciate it. When after he passed it off and Hyman is waiting over in the wings to just cash in surefire, easy goal, on the one angle, the replay, McDavid's not even looking at him. He's kind of already in the corner and the arm's starting to come up. It gave me a lot of reminiscence of the LeBron to Wade throw up in the camera shot from just in behind the hoop, right? The alley-oop. That's what it looked like, because he was so confident that he had just given the biggest freebie to his line mate, to his teammate, that is maybe as free as any goal that you can get in the NHL.
Man, that stuff like that with some of these best athletes to ever play at their craft, like Tiger Woods, when he walks in a putt and like points it in from like 5 feet out, 6 feet. It's like, what? And you're right, that alley-oop when it's the no look. Only the greats do that. And McDavid with the pass, like he knew. He knew it.
Yeah.
And the puck wasn't even across half of the ice yet. No. It's crazy.
And so that's the positive of that game on Wednesday night. Outside of that, I think the positives are a little more difficult to nail down. Because said it in the open, certainly the worst Connor Ingram start that we've seen so far, and it's only been a couple or a few at this point, right? But you look at like 6 goals get past him. I would say 5 of them, maybe even all 6. You're kind of like, don't love that. Don't love that. And then the Oilers' second goal is the exact same thing. Like Jeremy Swayman was excellent at the other end. A big part of the reason why the Bruins won the hockey game. And like Roslovic's goal, he just like catches him napping a little bit, and with the no look type shot as he's surveying cross ice, rips it basically right off his hip and into the net. So that's not a great goal for the Bruins to give up. They still win the game going away. And as I said, second straight night in Winnipeg, the Oilers were pretty clearly not the better team, but their goaltender bailed them out. Cal Pickard was probably his best start of the season in that game. in his hometown.
He wanted to show out at home.
Same thing happens against the Bruins on home ice to round out the calendar year. You don't get the same goaltending effort, and the result kind of reflects that.
And it's against a team in Boston that you are better than. And you just,
for sure,
you came out and you laid an egg at home. It's unfortunate. Now, getting back to the resolution, I think there's something glaring with this team, man, and it's bottom 6 scoring. And it's just bottoms, not even scoring, Duke, I guess production. Bottom six production.
Effectiveness, in a lot of ways, right? And this is off a game in Winnipeg where we saw 2 goals from players that were playing in the bottom 6. Now, the second one was technically a second unit power play goal, but I think that can be, in the Oilers' case, definitely counted as depth scoring because they see the ice so little. Being able to cash that in matters, but we got the Max Jones goal. Andrew Mangiapane drew back into the lineup on Wednesday night against the Bruins. Didn't really see a lot of extra. He got into a scrum in front of the Bruins net towards the end of the game. I guess you could say that is about as much fire or extra effort after being a healthy scratch you saw from the player. But elsewhere around it, like the third line is just a little bit of a chasm right now that nobody seems to be able to fill.
You think Drew is gone? Andrew Mangiapane?
Well,
you think he's going to stick around for the whole season?
The whole season, I'd be surprised because as you get closer to the trade deadline, you become a little more desperate to find a way to give yourself some cap flexibility through it. We've talked about it with Speck. We've talked about it with Frank. It's like this does seem like a situation where it's going to have to be like a quote unquote problem for a problem type trade. Another underperforming player on another team that is also looking for like a fresh start, a clean slate somewhere, and you just kind of go one for one. Now, the thing with Mangiapane and his trade protection is that like he will kind of, to a certain extent, get a little bit of a final say on where that could be. But yeah, it's tough right now. And now all of a sudden staring down the barrel of a matinee game tomorrow with the Flyers in town. It's like, all right, so you've kind of cycled through. You need to pick somebody to sit out again. Whose turn is it? Is it Mangiapane again? Is it Trent Frederick? Like another trip to the press box? I'm really not too sure. Like I don't even think I have a specific answer at this point because the bottom 6 at large has been so ineffective in a variety of roles, scoring being the most blatant absence, that take your pick of any one of the names that could really take a seat.
Outside of Jack Roslovic.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
is he going to remain on the bottom 6, do you think, or do you pair him up with Leon?
That's where I'm struggling because I don't think that is the best use of him as a player, is to there and try and drag these other struggling players into the fray, right? And I think he's best suited playing alongside Leon Draisaitl. I don't want to take Ryan Nugent-Hopkins off the top line because of the effectiveness they have had and the way Connor's been going over the past month. It's a record-setting type of December he had. All right, so who's playing third-line center? Henrique has shown he's not up to the task at this point of his career. And you're just like, Frederick. I would say, Eddie, right now, I'm like, almost just like, throw these 3 guys out there in the third line and be like, try and figure it out. And that is a case of like Trent Frederick at center, Mangiapane on the wing, maybe Matthias Janmark over on the other wing. And Janmark does a lot of things well. Scoring is something that clearly eludes him a lot. But he puts his work boots on. He still kills penalties, all this effectiveness. And I guess instead of Janmark, you'd be talking about Matt Savoy, who is just almost the victim of circumstance with how many good top 6 players the Oilers do possess.
Exactly.
That he might have to play on that third line and see if he can be a little bit of a play driver, even if it's asking a lot of such young players so inexperienced. But I'm a little bit out of things to suggest for solutions.
That's all there is. That's all there is. And you mentioned they could, take on a problem and trade a problem, that being Andrew Mangiapane. Let's just hope that problem that they do potentially take on in that trade, they don't go and sign to an 8-year extension.
An 8-year deal with full trade protection. Yeah, that's
good night.
It's not ideal. It is absolutely not ideal. Before we get to the rest of the show's lineup, and we'll cover lots more Oilers as the morning progresses. Of course, let's quickly say good morning and happy New Year to the men behind the board on the 1s and 2s. We got Donovan Paulson over working our digital stuff to keep us live and online. We have Josh Fenwick, fellas. Good morning.
Brought in the brekkie too. He crushed.
Shout out Josh. Showing some appreciation, some gratuity for the extra day off on Wednesday as he jetted down to Calgary to see the family. Didn't get the chance to go home over Christmas. Brings in some breakfast for the boys this morning. Big shout out. How are we doing this morning, guys?
Well, I'm excellent. It's very much a day that I needed off. It was a long day.
Well, Donovan, you got a long day today.
I'm gonna have another long one today, but
the marathon shift Donnie is today.
The day off in between was definitely needed. A nice little sleep in, a snooze on Thursday was needed. But excited to be back in, Duke. It's always a blast when we do these shows together. And I mean, listen, Eddie, it's always good to see you. So I'm excited.
Hey, good to see you too, man.
Well, me and Donnie,
man, you're great.
Nah, we vibe, man. Me and Donnie got a thing.
No,
man.
for sure.
We like each other. Donnie, real quick, what's a sleep in for you?
Oh,
What'd you sleep till?
that was noon.
Noon?
That was noon.
crazy.
Man,
That's insane.
half of my day's gone by noon.
I needed it, Eddie. I needed it.
Josh, welcome back. Thanks for the breakfast. I can't wait to dig into it here as we roll through the morning. But how was the trip back home?
It was terrible.
Oh,
however,
good.
I want to say shout out to everyone that was driving on the QE2 yesterday. Everyone seemed like they understood that it was not when you get there, but just getting there.
Right.
So thank you to everyone who drove safely. I'm sure my mom is very happy with that. And I want to say thank you to you guys. As Brandon said, I did not get to go home for Christmas, but I got to go home and see my parents. My mom was very happy about that. So thank you to you guys for, taking care of the slack for me while I was away on Wednesday.
Well, I won't speak for Donovan, but I'll say no problem. No problem, Josh. We've got a loaded program as per usual here on a Friday morning. Feel Good Friday, Playlist Friday. Get your text into Donovan if you got a song request as one of our break intros to send you into the weekend on a positive note. Right after the break, Cordell Woodland, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, has been on the show many times. Great insight from Cordell on the Baltimore Ravens, who will be playing for the AFC North and a playoff spot Sunday Night Football against their division rival Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll tee up that game with Cordell. Mark Spector, as usual, with us at 8 o'clock from Rogers Sportsnet, talking Oilers, talking Team Canada, and whatever else is on Spec's mind heading into the weekend. We'll go in or out with Eddie at 8:40. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, Jordan Hall from NBC Sports covering the Philadelphia Flyers. So we'll hop on. We'll tee up tomorrow's Oilers matinee game with the Flyers in town and get Jordan's thoughts on where the Flyers are at this stage of the season. And in the 10 o'clock hour, Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Low Tide and Elks Nation will join us to recap an exciting quarterfinals of the college football playoff. 4 games. Some of them were lopsided, but still entertaining. And then we got the masterpiece, the cherry on top, with last night's Ole Miss victory over the Georgia Bulldogs. And then 10:20, David Dwork from the Hockey News covers the Florida Panthers. We're going to look at the Winter Classic going down in Miami tonight between the Rangers and the Panthers. Some maybe injury updates with the Panthers, where some of their players are at. Matt Tkachuk not expected to play today, but doesn't seem very far out. And we'll get David's thoughts on how the whole event is unfolding from Lone Depot Park in southern Florida. When we return, Cordell Woodland, 105.7 The Fan. He'll be with us to talk Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday Night Football. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele, Josh Femick, and Donovan Paulson, all with you here. It's the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us, The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you.
After 20 years, Canada's most prestigious international hockey tournament returns. The Camrose Viking Cup, December 28th to January 4th at Encana Arena. Tickets at vikingcup.ca. Brought to you by Sports 1440.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the Center Bar. Plus, catch this fall's biggest games. Every goal, every tackle, every home run. River Creek is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
7:22. Welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning as he enjoys a little bit of an extended New Year's break. And Happy New Year to you, everyone out there. Keep it safe. Roads in and around the city in pretty dire straits. Snow still coming down through that nice little temperature burst we had earlier this week. Regularly scheduled programming for January in the capital region. Eddie Steele alongside Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick in studio as well. And let's get to our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the plumber to call when the toilet mysteriously breaks after a jalapeno pepper popper fueled game night with the fellas. That's MrRooter.ca. As we welcome back in Cordell Woodland from 105.7. The Fan in Baltimore covers the Ravens. Cordell, good morning, Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show. Appreciate you jumping on this morning.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
So, Cordell, it's week 18 in the NFL, and as usual, there's plenty of nothing burger games, right? Lots that we can kind of set on the side burners, and apart from some performance bonuses, some prop bets if you're in the gambling community and things like that, not a lot to focus on, but not the case for the Ravens and the Steelers, who will go at it Sunday Night Football, the division title, the final playoff spot in the AFC on the line. What's the feeling down in your neck of the woods around this, and what's been, I think, fair to say, a disappointing season for the Ravens on aggregate, but a chance here to at least right some of the wrongs and get back into the playoffs with a win?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's for sure been a disappointing season to this point. The Ravens didn't expect to be in this spot where they're fighting for their playoff lives in Week 18 against Pittsburgh. They're a 500 team right now. This isn't a 500 roster. Now, this is a roster that maybe isn't as good as we thought, but I don't think the roster is a 500 roster. No doubt they have underachieved this year for a variety of reasons. They have O-line issues. Their offensive line, especially on the interior, has been inconsistent at best. They've dealt with injuries all year on both sides of the ball, specifically to Lamar, who's been in and out of the lineup. It looks like he'll be a full go on Sunday night. But I think a lot of people out here is kind of mixed feelings. You know, I think there are some people that are so disappointed with the season, that are kind of so disappointed with this team that they honestly might be ready for the season to be over because, you know, even if they win this game and they host a playoff game the next week, it's not a lot of optimism around the way this Ravens team has played. But then also you got the other side that's, you know, that's just like, get in, you know, just win by any means necessary and get into the playoffs. And it's been such a wacky year, and the playoffs look so crazy as is. You don't have Kansas City. The Ravens are fighting and clawing their way in. Buffalo's in, but Buffalo as it doesn't look great. So the thought is maybe that if the Ravens can get in, maybe they can get on a little bit of a run in the second season. But I think a lot of people just don't know what to think about this Ravens team right now.
Cordell, can you break it down for us in terms of how the allowment for media to be at practice and the exposure that you get? Because based off what I've read, Lamar, he's been a full participant in practice the past 2 days in a row. If you've been at practice, I was wondering, how has he looked to your eyes?
Yeah, we're out there. The regular season practice is, much different than training camp and mini camp and all that stuff in the off season. We're able to watch full practices of mini camps and the entirety of training camp. When regular season starts, we get about a 30-minute viewing period. So during that time, it's a lot of special teams going on, and then we'll get to see them go into individual drills. So we're not out there for the team portions of the drill. But, I mean, Lamar has looked, fine. Granted, when he's out there, it's a lot of handoffs and soft toss and, warming up, really. But, he's out there. And just Lamar Jackson being on the field gives a lot of people hope. We did get to talk to Lamar yesterday. I mean, he talked about just how painful. It's a lot going on with Lamar these days. There have been, I don't know if you guys saw, there was an article that came out about him last week about possibly the future of Lamar not being in Baltimore and maybe not having the greatest work habits and things like that. Those types of stories are going to come out when, things aren't going well, and they haven't gone well for them. But Lamar just talked about blocking out a lot of that noise. He talked about it being untrue. But he did talk about how hurt he was, but he said he started to feel better on Sunday and definitely going into Monday, considering it was a Saturday game that he did miss. So he got about a week or so of rest with that back issue. He did say he's going to wear a flak jacket, so he'll have some extra padding under his jersey. We'll see what his movement is like early in this game, but he seems to feel like he feels good.
Cordell Woodland, our guest here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas and Eddie Steele with you. So, Cordell, sticking with the Lamar topic for a moment, it has been a frustrating season for him in regards to staying on the field. When he came back from injury, he did not look like the same player again. And then you have Snoop Huntley go out and put in a really nice performance to get them to win over the Packers last Saturday night. So, if Lamar were not at 100%, which based on practice participation, like you said, it seems like he is very close to it. Is there any realistic notion to the idea that, hey, if he's not feeling his best, he doesn't give us the best chance to win, we could roll out Snoop Huntley in this game? Or is it's a no-doubter Lamar will be under center for the entirety of this contest as long as it's close the whole way through?
Yeah, I think, I would expect to see Lamar Jackson for all 60 minutes unless something catastrophe happens, unless he gets knocked out of the game again or it's a blowout or something like that. I mean, Lamar hasn't been 100% since probably the Buffalo game, if we're being honest. It's been a long time since he's been 100% this year. Now, that's it. While he hasn't looked like MVP Lamar, he still has looked good at times. It's not like Lamar is out there and he just looks flat out terrible and he's costing them games. He definitely doesn't look like the Lamar Jackson that we all know. There's no doubt about that. But I would still say a 70-75% Lamar Jackson is better than Tyler Huntley. And that's no disrespect to Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley has been really good for the Ravens this year as a backup quarterback. The times that they have called his number, he stepped up in a big way for them, and they've won each of those games that Tyler Huntley has started. But Tyler Huntley is a quarterback that you can rely on to win you a game, to come in to get you a couple of drives. But we've seen this movie before. There were a couple years ago, Tyler Huntley had to finish the season for the Ravens, even started the playoff game for them in Cincinnati. But honestly, cost him the game. He had that fumble at the goal line on the quarterback sneak, and it goes beyond that. The fact of the matter is, Lamar Jackson is, even if he's a shell of himself, if he can play, you have to let him play. He's the franchise quarterback, and it would probably just start unnecessary drama that's already being built up anyway. So I think for them, and really the players in the locker room, I mean, there's a different type of confidence that they play with when 8 is on the field.
Cordell, before we put this to bed, because it is just kind of unnecessary drama, is that truly what you feel the story is between Lamar Jackson, even John Harbaugh, in their relationship? Because where there's smoke, there's fire oftentimes, and we've been hearing about how maybe they're not seeing eye to eye. And in the same breath, is John Harbaugh in the hot seat?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, when you talk about the relationship between Lamar and John, both of those guys publicly have stated that they have a great relationship. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't hear things at times, or I haven't heard things over the years of not, I wouldn't even say friction between the two, but it's a human element. Everybody's not going to see eye to eye on everything. It's not out of the realm of possibility for a quarterback or just a player in general to not love every single aspect, of his head coach. The same thing for his coach. He's not going to love everything about Lamar. So I think that's there. But when they lose, when the season's going the way that it is, those types of stories can come out, because even if it is a smidgen of truth in there, it may not be enough to blow it up the way that it's been blown up. But considering the circumstances, people will jump on that. But I do think I think they're fine. I think they're fine. I don't think they're best buddies, but I think they're fine. You have a fine working relationship. In terms of John and his future, I mean, if it was any other coach outside of Mike Tomlin and Andy Reid, probably, that seat would be scorching hot. But John has a great relationship with the owner, an owner that we don't really get to talk to. So we don't know what his thoughts are or his feelings are towards John and the way that the season has gone, or the way the last couple of seasons have gone, because the Ravens have gone backwards since hosting that AFC Championship game a couple of years ago. I think John probably should be on the hot seat, especially if they lose the playoffs, lose this game and don't make the playoffs. But even if they don't win this game, or even if they do and then their first round exit, I can't sit here with confidence and say that John Harbaugh won't be the coach next year. I think there will be some changes made to his coaching staff, but my gut just tells me that John will get every opportunity to continue to coach this team. And when he's not here anymore, it'll be because he and the team mutually agreed that it's time to part ways.
Cordell Woodland from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, our guest here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. So, Cordell, you mentioned the Harbaugh situation. It is crazy to say, because I'm right there with you that any other circumstance for both these coaches on Sunday night, Tomlin and Harbaugh, if the loser of this game, you kind of look at it and say, or a first round exit to follow, you kind of look at it like, all right, maybe it's time to, get a fresh start, get a fresh voice. But it's just not the way that these two teams conduct business. And they clearly really, really appreciate and covet the continuity that each of these two guys have provided for their respective franchises. And so I think pretty much regardless of result, maybe save a crazy blowout or something, or some egregious coaching mistake, like I fully expect both of them to be back with their teams come the fall. And I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that line of thinking, but so be it. Look into the game itself, Cordell. What kind of game plan do the Ravens look to implement here to win this game against the Steelers and secure that final playoff spot? Is it too simple to say that with the way Derrick Henry has looked when he's got the touches, that, trust your horses, put the hands or the ball in the hands of your big dog there at the running back position and let him go to work?
Well, I mean, they're definitely going to try, you would imagine. I think that's going to be option A, is to try to just lean on Derrick Henry and Look, he's coming off a game where he had his career high in rushes. I don't know if they're looking to give him 36 carries again, but if they have to, so be it. You kind of got to empty the tank. This is it for them. So go down with your best players. But the thing is, look, Pittsburgh has been they've been easy to run on at times. Buffalo went into Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago and set a Acrisure Stadium record for rushing yards for a visiting team. They ran all over Pittsburgh in that game. You go back to last year, I think the Ravens and the Steelers played week 18, or maybe it was week 17. I can't remember, but they had, I think, over 300 yards rushing in that game, completely dominated Pittsburgh. And then they played them in a wild card, ran all over them again. I don't know if that'll be the case again on Sunday night. In the first matchup, Henry had about 25 carries for maybe like 93 yards or 95 yards. So that wasn't a great per carry average, but they stuck with it. I do think that may be the case again, because when Pittsburgh plays this version of the Ravens team, it's no secret they are they're selling out on the run, and they're selling out to stop Derrick Henry. Mike Tomlin has said that publicly. They're not going to let 22 beat them in their minds. So, that may mean that Lamar may have to carry the ball a little bit, may have to keep it on some read options. They may have to go to the passing game at times, especially on early downs, get some early down play actions. But they're going to have to start with the run and go from there offensively. Defensively, this is a Steelers offense that really has nothing. DK Metcalf is still suspended. Washington, their tight end, is gone for the year now. He's on IR. Their leading receivers are running back. Their backup running back at that. So you've got to limit the run game, which the Ravens have done a good job of for the most part this year, but they have been easy to throw on at times every week. So, it wouldn't shock me if somehow Aaron Rodgers finds a way to move the ball through the air despite not having many guys to throw the ball to. This has been an inconsistent Ravens defense at best. So I would just say to people, prepare yourself for everything, because anytime these two teams play, logic kind of goes out the window, and there will be some 50-50 plays or I want it more than you type plays that happen where you can see some turnovers impact this game.
Hey, Cordell, with the recent waiving of backup rotational guard Ben Cleveland, was it just the organization had enough of his off-the-field antics, because he had the issue with the DUI in the past, and then he was just recently suspended again? Were they just kind of tired of it?
Well, that was such a weird situation. Ben Cleveland has never really gotten many opportunities here. And then, like you said, he had the DUI in the off season, and he was a free agent, and the Ravens re-signed him. That was very, very surprising here in Baltimore, and that happened even after the DUI. So you're thinking, he's a guy that internally we felt like he was kind of in John Harbaugh's doghouse, and then he gets the DUI. We're thinking there's no way this dude is coming back, and then they bring him back. And like you said, he got suspended. That suspension was for the DUI. His case had got postponed into the season, I think until October or something like that. So they ended up, the league passed down the judgment on his suspension. He got a suspension, and he just returned to practice this week, and they let him go. That whole situation has been bizarre, but I don't think he was let go because of the DUI. That happened even before they re-signed him. I think he was just let go just really because they had no plans to use him. Emory Jones, a rookie guard, it took him a long time to get ready. He had came in hurt. He was drafted hurt, and he wasn't ready to play until maybe late November, mid-November. So I think with Emory Jones kind of getting caught up to speed, they felt like Ben Cleveland now was a guy that was expendable.
Cordell, always appreciate your time. Great insights on everything moving and shaking down there in Baltimore. Enjoy this Sunday night game, and who knows, maybe we'll chat again if the Ravens can figure some things out and maybe make a little bit of a push here into the playoffs. Happy New Year to you once again. Take care, and we'll look forward to chatting soon.
Yep. Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cordell Woodland, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, covers the Ravens. Eddie, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? Like the Ravens, in my, preseason prediction, we're once again right there,
right at
12-win team, competing for the number one seed
of the
in
best
the conference.
rosters.
Cordell mentioned that, right? Like, this is not a roster that should be playing for a playoff spot in the last day of the season. But it is. And it stems from inconsistency, where for the second straight year, the defense was brutal for the first few weeks. They figure it out. But then on that, when Lamar returned from injury, and as Cordell pointed out, he's not been like eye-poppingly bad. We're like, oh my goodness, get Snoop Huntley in there. But he has not been the Lamar Jackson that we've seen in the past, where he can single-handedly take over games. Play that hero-type ball that when everything else is going against you, he can still make it happen. We've seen that from Josh Allen. We've seen that from Justin Herbert this year as kind of, a couple guys in his peer group. We haven't seen that really this year from Lamar. And I'm really like, I know they're not going to fire John Harbaugh, but you have to wonder at a certain point, is there a fresh direction for the franchise, whether that comes in the form of moving on from Lamar or moving on from your head coach.
And that's wild to even go there. But the reality is that's where this organization might be. And Lamar, who is a perennial MVP favorite, he just hasn't looked himself. The run game for Baltimore, they're number one in the league for rushing offense. But when it comes to the passing game, Zay Flowers is their leading receiver with 1,073 yards, which is nothing to write home about in a 17-game NFL season. After Zay Flowers' 1,073 yards, Mark Andrews is next with 408.
Yeah, right.
Like, team passing stinks.
If you were just to put it out there to anybody that's maybe not a Ravens fan, or maybe even the fan of another AFC North team, who's the team's WR2?
Team passing stinks.
Is it Rashad Bateman? I mean, like, DeAndre Hopkins is on this team. Like, does he have 25 catches on the year? Like, I genuinely don't know, because the Ravens have been such a perplexing team, and they use both their tight ends a lot, right? And Likely and Andrews in the pass game. But like, and Keaton Mitchell a little bit, but it's not like they use Derrick Henry in the pass game a ton. It's not the best designed offense, I think, and whether it be to personnel or what, but I think Greg Roman has to just, not overthink this. And like Cordell said, he doesn't expect to see Derrick Henry once again have 30 plus touches.
Upwards of 40.
But I mean, that's what it takes. If that's the best,
until the wheels fall off.
And maybe some more option play stuff with Lamar holding onto the ball and running it, as opposed to I don't know. But whoever wins this game on Sunday night, they're going to, as the 4 seed, be playing an 11 or more likely 12-win team in the 5 spot. And whether that's the Texans, whether it's the Jags, if the Texans leapfrog them, Chargers, or the Bills, do you give either of those teams a sniff in that wild card game?
Absolutely not, Duke. And I didn't know Washington, that huge offensive lineman of a receiver. I didn't know he was out for Pitt. So that's another favorite weapon for Aaron Rodgers. So they're limited now.
This game may just be the perfect representation of how the AFC North has been all year, or it's just like a pillow fight to the finish line.
Yeah.
And somebody
win the game.
Somebody will win.
No, you win the game.
Somebody will win. Well, we'll dive into some more NFL talk and have Eddie step in as guest picker for this weekend's matchups in Kevin Karius' absence.
Yes.
We gave Donovan the reins in the past to fill in for me and Kevin, I think, at one point, to limited success. Josh Fenwick, no success. So he's been benched, and we're pulling Eddie off the sidelines.
Mama, I made it.
New starter. We'll do that at 8:20. When we return, though, we're going to jump into the United States Olympic roster getting announced just earlier this morning. There was lots of talk about it. Some players actually saying that they had been called and said they were not on the team, et cetera, et cetera. We have the full list now. So we're going to break that down when we return here. It's the Kevin Karius Show. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele, Josh Fenwick, and Donovan Paulson all in studio with you. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Send off your holiday break with Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings get a rare visit from the Seattle Thunderbirds.
Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
Plus, score Caramel Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Seattle Thunderbirds, WHL Hockey for the holidays. Family Fun Sunday at 4.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Just think, Kevin Karius has been covering Edmonton sports since before TikTok, Twitter, texting, and the Titanic. We may have made that last one up. Check out Karius in the mornings on Sports 1440. Your game, your station.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Get ready.
We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Shoresy's back, and it's only on Crave.
We need total buy-in from every guy in this room.
The Smash Hit Series returns for a brand new season.
We're going to be playing the EU All-Stars.
Shoresy is facing his toughest competition yet.
This EU team is spectacular.
Yeah, I'm not scared of them.
Hear that, Shoresy?
Let's make sure they never forget who we are.
Shoresy, new season. Stream now, only on Crave.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. Eddie Steele alongside co-hosting Josh Femick, Donovan Paulson with us in studio as well. Just coming up towards 8 o'clock, we got Mark Spector at the top of this hour. We'll talk Oilers, we'll talk World Juniors and many other things with Spec. Talk some NFL with Eddie in the 8 o'clock hour, and then we'll go in or out with Donovan Paulson towards the end of Eddie's stay with us this morning. So Eddie, you threw it out there right off the hop this morning. It's the new year, 2026, baby. And with that always comes the New Year's resolutions. Like, you can be honest, whether now or in your past, have you been like a big resolution guy where you put it out there in the ether, maybe you write it down, maybe you tweet it to try and hold yourself accountable, anything like that?
Not crazy, probably little things. You're always trying to level up at the end of the day, right? You're just trying to level up. But no, I've never been. It's a lifestyle, dude. It's not just the calendar flips and I'm a new me. No, baby, it's a lifestyle, Duke. I live this life.
And so you don't you didn't bookmark anything specific here for 2026.
No, my wife has some things bookmarked for me.
Oh, good. That's good.
But no, man, just trying to level up, be better, be a better dad. I guess be more patient, be more calm. It's more family type stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not
I don't need to worry about getting in the gym and stuff like that.
Not about breaking 85.
That's going to happen. That's not a resolution, dude.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a foregone conclusion. You're tripping here now. It's an average, 85 average, Duke.
Okay.
Oh, it looks good. I wish people could see
but
your
Eddie, you
face.
put it out there to the listeners as well to text in. Maybe if you have some New Year's resolutions, as minor or as grandiose as they may be, we want to hear about them. Do you have resolutions? Like Eddie said, his wife has some resolutions for him to work towards. Do you, as a fan, have resolutions for your favorite teams? Is that the Oilers? Is that the Blue Jays? Is that your NFL team? Doesn't matter. We want to hear about them. 1-833-401-1440. And this text came in before we even were on air this morning from Caleb. And it's just a screenshot of looks like a notes app. Not going to lie, 2026 is kind of mid so far. Interesting beginning to the year. Tim says good resolutions, Eddie. So that's very good. Jay and Victoria had a great text about solving some of the Oilers' problems that we discussed about their depth and how to best deploy their lines. I'm going to save that one for when we have spec on. I'm just going to read it to him as a Slurpee. Sean says third line center solution is Ryan O'Reilly. Interesting one. A veteran player can do a few different things. Obviously not the same guy that he once was, a Conn Smythe winner himself, but an interesting option if the Oilers were able to make it work. Perhaps explore that in the weeks to come. Wednesday, Eddie, Team Canada released their Olympic roster. We talked about it nonstop for the following hour, essentially. For you, were there any glaring surprises in your eyes?
No, not glaring.
Yeah.
No, not for Team Canada. They talk Connor Bedard, but I think
that was a hill Karius is really standing up on and waving the flag about that. Like
he should have.
Even more for me, the name is Mark Scheifele. That doesn't get on this
thank
team.
you, Duke. Thank you.
And so that's more of an omission. But you said it's like glaring surprises. I don't think so, because every name that was put on there either was already on the team or was a name that we knew had jumped into consideration. Right? We're talking Celebrini, most notably. The defense is the exact same. The goalies we knew were going to be swapped out, and a few guys in the case of Jarvis. I still had him on my team, but we've been banged up a little bit. Jarvis, Konechny, they fall off the roster. And then a couple guys, but like Stone and Cirelli, the two names that I think most people are circled in the forward group as like
question marks.
Really? Now, earlier this morning, the United States revealed their roster. And in case any of our listeners have missed it, I'm just going to read them out. And this, like Team Canada's, is an alphabetical order by position. So starting with the forwards, Matt Boldy, Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Jake Gensel, Jack Hughes, Clayton Keller, Dylan Larkin, Austin Matthews, JT Miller, Brock Nelson, Tage Thompson, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, and Vincent Trocheck. On defense, Brock Faber, Noah Hannafin, Quinn Hughes, Seth Jones, Charlie McAvoy, Jake Sanderson, Jacob Slavin, Zach Werenski. And the goalies, they're the same, Hellebuck, Ottinger, and Swayman. So, first impression, Eddie, I'll ask the same question. Any glaring names on that list or not on that list that kind of stand out to you?
I think Captain Obvious would say Jason Robertson.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Young star with the firepower that he has. What would be the reason for not having Jason Robertson on that roster?
Good question.
One of the best American scorers there is.
Yeah. I wonder, because the Americans are not as rich at the center position as Team Canada is. I think that's fair to say. You have some big names for sure in Eichel, Hughes, like Tage Thompson, who he was a name that worked his way onto this team, but I thought that was a bit of a no-doubter at this point. But does that make more room for guys like Brock Nelson and Vincent Trocheck, who I think would be the first or couple of the names that people look at and say them over over Jason Robertson, and who else is on this team? Cole Caulfield.
I was just gonna, say Cole Caulfield, but if Jason Robertson's not on the team, how is Cole Caulfield going to be on the team?
Yeah, it's interesting. And then on the defensive side, the one big omission is Adam Fox. So it's kind of funny. People might look and say, okay, JT Miller and Vincent Trocheck, this is the equivalent to John Cooper putting Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli on. These are guys that he is most familiar with, sees them every day. Now it's Mike Sullivan's first year coaching in the Big Apple, but still can't really play the same favoritism card when he leaves his number one defenseman off of this roster. And Fox talked about it because he told the media yesterday, he's like, yeah, I got the call from Garrett. I'm not on the team. And basically said, like, I thought I'd played well enough. I thought I'd done my part, but it is what it is. Now, Donovan, you're around all this. You've been keeping tabs. You were right there in the heat of the fire on Wednesday when the Canadian roster came out. With this American group, any other names apart from maybe the couple we listed out as surprises not being on there or being on there? And who would they be? Or you can just pony off of the names you already listed and add your thoughts.
Well, I'm just going to say, in respect to the one that I'm shocked he's on here, is JT Miller. For reference, JT Miller has 22 points on the season. Do you know who has the same amount of points? Zach Hyman, who's also played 22 games. Like, Zach Hyman has the same amount of points as JT Miller does this season. And JT Miller, I don't know if you seen his efforts at times defensively. I can't believe that he is on this team. He has been, the fact that guy has a captaincy is shocking to me. That guy's an awful leader, awful. I can't believe he's on this team. Caulfield's a great shout. Like, they clearly have tried to take size. That's the only reason for leaving a guy like Caulfield, a guy like Robertson, a guy like Fox. That this is just a clear thing about size and wanting to be big and compete with.
Is
guys
that
like
why
Tom
they would
Wilson.
have a Brock Nelson then, who has got 30 points only on the season? And I say only, but he's big. But Brock Nelson, to me, that's a question mark.
It is. I
Older and slower.
I would agree wholeheartedly with Brock Nelson. That's one that doesn't make a ton of sense to me either. You can point to Trocheck. Like, there's a lot of question marks for me with this U.S. team where people are looking at the Canada team and trying to poke holes, and I felt it was kind of unwarranted. Some of the holes that people were trying to poke. I don't know. Like, Duke, I'd even raise you, like, could Troy Terry have been on this team instead of some of these other guys?
Hey,
like, Troy Terry's been
my
excellent.
bias in, he's been great this year. The Ducks are a very
Cutter
fun,
Gauthier.
exciting team, but I just think the States do have a pretty good embarrassment of riches at the forward position there. And I mean, their forward group is not as good top to bottom as the Canadians. I think their defense is better, and I think their goaltending on whole is better. Now, Connor Hellebuck, a lot of questions about playing in big games and big moments. He was really good in the final of the Four Nations face-off, overtime goal. And you could say it's the flip side. The offense wasn't good enough. They couldn't get one past Binnington in the extra frame. So it's my biggest takeaway here is that you have two teams that are probably going to be the favorites in the States and Canada. The rosters are excellent. And it gives us something to, like, whoever wins will allow the GM and the management for how they put the team together. Whoever loses will poke holes in it until the end of time. But for the time being, we continue to decipher it, break it down, think about it. You hate to say it because you're never rooting for this or wanting it to happen, but in the next month and a half, there's a decent chance somebody's going to get injured. Of two full roster of hockey players, there's a decent chance someone is going to get injured, and we might have a replacement name called. Creates another whole discussion in amongst itself. We'll talk about this. We haven't talked to Spec since the Canadian roster was announced, so we'll check in on that with Spec, the American team, and of course the Oilers, who a little bit of a back burner this morning. Rewind to the game against Boston and look ahead to tomorrow's hosting the Flyers in a matinee affair. Before that, let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Nectar.io. Learn more about how we can help your business automate processes, streamline operations, and save money at Nectar.io. Nectar.io, your business made better. Here is Donovan Paulson.
The Sports 1440 update.
On the ice last night, the Habs, they took down the Canes 7-5 in an absolute barn burner. The Sens snuck past the Caps 4-3. The Leafs edged out the Jets 6-5 off an Austin Matthews hat trick. The Pens beat the Wings 4-3 in overtime, and the Mammoth toppled the Isles 7-2. Olympic roster news for the U.S. They have named their roster with two key names left off the group. Jason Robertson and Adam Fox, your two headliners, not making the team. College football playoffs last night. Oregon blanked Texas Tech 23-0 in the Orange Bowl. Indiana dumpstered Bama 38-3 in the Rose Bowl. And Ole Miss knocked out Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. Coming up right after the break, we've got Sportsnet's Mark Spector. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
I'm tired of waking up tired.
Waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Every lunchtime, hang with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. Low Tide and Declan Kruger gives you the deep dives, sharp analysis, and Edmonton sports talk done right. Your game, your station, Sports 1440.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Just after 8 o'clock, welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas and Eddie Steele with you this morning. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Get your thoughts in on Oilers, on Olympic team selection, the USA dropping their roster earlier this morning. Some thoughts on that we can get to. And anything else on your mind heading into the weekend. Very busy portion of the sporting calendar, including Team Canada in action to the quarterfinals later on this evening. Let's get to On the Mark, as we do every day at 8 o'clock. Brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick and GMC. Mike and the crew want to thank you for all the support in 2025 and wish you a happy new year. Together, we fed almost 500 families, and we are going to do it again. Thank you from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, good morning. Happy New Year. Thanks for being here. So I was worried that you, like Kevin, were kind of thinking, who's going to be working on this Friday? I might as well just take it off. No one else is working.
Yeah, right. Who does work on this Friday? That's a good question.
That was literally Kevin's point about taking this day off.
Yeah, right. Gregor's in charge of this place? Well, if anybody asks,
Gregor's also off today, by the way.
Oh, he's off too. Oh, I see. So it's just the mice are running the store here.
That's right. You had a good New Year's Eve spec, of course, at the Oilers game. And when you're talking about it with Kevin Wednesday, like, you're not getting out of the building probably until after midnight, if not very close to it. But did you make your way back out to the lake and dip into some festivities?
A little bit. Yeah, I got back out in time anyway. I left a little early, wrote something early, kind of cheated a little bit. And as it turned out, the way the Oilers played, you didn't want to write much about that game anyway. So
it's a good point.
Yeah, no, they need to, I would say, their game's a little bit, they lost their mojo for sure over the Christmas break. They've come back with 3 games that have been not that great. So good teams figure that out fairly quickly. They got a whole month here of opportunity in front of them, and they're counting on this month. So this is a month they can really go into the Olympic break the right way, or they can look back on it and say, oh man, did we ever blow that? So, let's see which way they go. A good team figures it out and takes advantage of this month at home that they've earned from all that road travel.
And so let's just rewind to Wednesday night for a moment, Spec. In this game against the Bruins, they lose 6-2. It's the second straight game that they were outplayed for essentially the entirety of it, if not the overwhelming majority. But unlike in Winnipeg, they did not get the goaltending to bail them out. Not Connor Ingram's best night, certainly his worst as an Oiler, and that's a very brief period for sure. But to me, it almost begs the question of, like, given his history and whatnot, how does he bounce back from it? Because of 6 goals that go in, I'm usually pretty generous with the goaltenders, maybe more than some, but I look at almost all 6 of them and kind of say, oh, don't really love most of them, if not all of them.
I don't know if I'd quite go that high, but certainly, you know what? Like, first of all, there is no history because he's never, this isn't the guy that was playing in Arizona, right? He's been through all the things he's been through. Now he's on the comeback trail, and it's all fresh and new. And, you can take Connor Ingram's history and wipe it away. Like, we all know what kind of goalie he was, and it was a real good one. And you'd love, the Oilers want to see him get back there. But in terms of day-by-day history, like, when's the last time he bounced back, and when's the last time? Throw all that stuff in the garbage, man. He's starting fresh and new, and I don't think it matters. I'd say he's played 3 games very well and 1 game not very good. And, 3 out of 4 on this comeback trail. I don't think anyone should be too surprised by that. Let's see where it goes from here. The whole NHL thing for him it's becoming a reality again. And with that comes some challenges, I think, for a guy in his shoes. So I won't predict what's going to happen, but let's see where he takes it. Let's see if he can get back control of this thing and give you 3 more good starts in a row.
Spec, with this upcoming schedule from the Saturday to next Saturday stretch, they play 4 games. Do you anticipate they're just going to give Connor Ingram the green light, or will there be more of a rotation between him and Cal? What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know. It's a good question, Eddie. There is an issue with games played for Ingram, as we've all talked about on here, right? Once he plays his 10th game, he is now waiver eligible. And all of that matters in terms of when does Jari come back? And now are you going to carry 3 guys? Are you going to put Pickard on waivers? You feel like if you put Jari or Ingram on waivers, you'll lose them. So do you want to stretch, Eddie? You want to stretch those 9 games out as long as you can? I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know how soon Jari's coming back. I'm not sure what their plan is in terms of are they willing to carry 3 guys? I don't think you'd rather not lose Pickard when you got a starting goalie in Jari who's had an injury-plagued season. You don't want to – what happens if you lose Pickard on waivers and Jari gets hurt? Now you got Ingram and nobody. So all of that factors in how much they're going to play him. The good news for the Oilers is Pickard's playing really well, and if you wanted to play him every second night, you probably could.
Sportsnet's Mark Spector with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas and Eddie Steele in this morning. So I guess to maybe just put a brief bow on the goaltending thing, were you surprised that they went with Ingram on Wednesday after the way Cal Pickard played in Winnipeg earlier in the week?
I don't know. I mean, I never seem to get it right who they're going to start.
Yeah, join the club, because we talked about it on Wednesday with Schlemmer. And I had it as an in or out thing, Spec. I said, Pickard deserves, he earned the right to play again, right? Like he won the game for them in Winnipeg. And Schlemmer said, he's like, this is a bad question because he's obviously going to start tonight.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the show, morning skates happening, and we see Connor Ingram in the starters net for the game. So we're all kind of equally just drawing lots on seeing who's going to play in the crease each night.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? We'll go to practice today and figure out who's playing tomorrow. We certainly Pickard can't play much better than he's playing lately, and I think with goaltenders, you always want to get them back in when they're playing well. I would for sure think we're seeing Pickard against Philly after the game Ingram gave the other night and the way Pickard's been playing. I think they'll go Pickard versus Philly for sure, but there again, I've been wrong all the time on these goalies, so I'm probably the wrong guy to ask, boys.
For the rest of the team, Spec, a second straight game where they're outplayed for the majority of 60 minutes, and apart from the McDavid, highlight reel assist to Hyman, it's a little bit tougher to pull some positives out of that game. Andrew Mangiapane returned to the lineup, and apart from a little engagement in front of the Bruins net later in the game, it wasn't really, I thought, noticeable in a positive manner. The same can be said for most other members of the bottom six, with the exception of maybe Jack Roslovic. Where are you at with the bottom six of this team and like its deployment moving forwards? Is it time to be a spread the wealth type option of moving a guy like Nuge down? And I'll frame this maybe more concretely. This text from Jay said, how about doing pairs for the top three lines? Connor, McDavid and Hyman, Draisaitl and Podkolzin, and then Nugent Hopkins and Jack Roslovic on a third line, and then you plug in the third option with the pieces you have left over. Is that a notion you would entertain, Spec?
I mean, it's a good question. Sometimes you cannibalize your top lines trying to make your bottom lines better.
Exactly.
Right. The top line's been going pretty good outside the last couple of nights. So I'm not sure that I do that. I mean, you got to find a way to light a fire under some of these guys down there. Mangiapane comes in. He can't gain the trust of the coaches here. Like the coach, to me, if you want to know what's going on, you watch a coach, how much he plays a player. And he started Mangiapane on the second line with Draisaitl and Podkolzin. Podkolzin, another guy who hasn't done anything for a long time. Right? His game is in a lull for sure. And Mangiapane plays, I think, 3 shifts with Leon Draisaitl's line, and on the 4th shift, Roslovic's playing. And by the end of the night, nobody on the team plays less than Mangiapane. So whatever he did out there, he didn't do the things Chris Knobloch was looking to see. And this is an issue for Mangiapane. He's in that place now where his coach doesn't like the way he's playing. I'm not going to say he doesn't like the way he plays, but he doesn't like the way he's playing. And the player has to figure out how to get back in the coach's good books and get some ice time that he can work with and become the player he wants to be. And I don't know, it's a vortex that he's caught in and Frederick's caught in. And those are 2 important players. I mean, this is a team, guys, that went in the Stanley Cup final last year and healthy scratched their 2 July 1st acquisitions in Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson. They were both healthy scratches in the Cup final. Imagine if you'd had a good July 1st. Maybe you win the Cup. And here we go down this road again. Now you got your 2 July 1st big acquisitions here, and neither of them are having any effect. They're playing less than 10 minutes each. July 1st is killing this team right now. How much better would you be if you had 2 players that you liked on July 1st?
And if like without the addition of Roslovic in October, this conversation is even worse. Right, because he's been such a boost to the team offensively.
Isn't Jack Campbell still on the books too? Speaking of July 1st.
Yeah, Jack Campbell's still on the books too. July 1st has been they should just close up shop and open back up on July 3rd around here. Because all the trades Bowman makes that are sort of quickie one-off, didn't see him coming trades have been really good. Podkolzin was a really good deal, right? We like the Stastny deal so far quite a bit. You like the short, quick deals that he's made have all been really good. The ones they sit around and think about and plan and negotiate on July 1st have been absolutely nightmares around here. And when you're this close to winning a cup, that could for sure be the difference.
So if I told you, despite the horrendous start to the season, the lack of production from the bottom 6, yet here we are on January 2nd, 2026. I know there's games in hand, but here Edmonton is first in the Pacific. Isn't that something, man?
Yeah, well, and you traded your goalie. The guy you got back is hurt already, right? They've had by far the worst schedule. I mean, by some margin, the worst schedule in the league. Most road travel, most trips out east, all that stuff. Sure, everything's being stacked pretty hard against them, and you're right. They go to bed on July 1st, and they're in first place. So, you know what? Things are fine here, right? We're talking about all their problems, and there's some issues, and that's what we do. We pick apart all the bad things. But to be honest, a lot of teams would kill to be in the same spot this club's in right now. I'd like to be the Winnipeg Jets, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're deciding if they're going to fire their coach today. That Scott Arniel absolutely can't get that team to win a game, even when they play well, they lose.
Yeah,
they blew it against Edmonton, then they went out and blew it against Toronto last night. Down in LA, they've lost, I think, 8 out of 10, and Hiller's hanging by a thread. There's a lot of teams out there with bigger problems than this one, that's for sure.
Yes, Beck, if only everyone could be like the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
winners of 10 in a row. And that's
They gonna make the playoffs?
Shuttle driver Ed texted that in. He said, I'm perplexed on how a team like Buffalo can win 10 games in a row without losing, and the Oilers have yet to win 3 in succession this year.
Yeah, well, they'd have missed the playoffs for 14 years in a row there. So
they've
you
been
want to be like Buffalo, be careful what you
right
wish for.
Spec, jumping away from the Oilers here for a moment. When we talked to you on Wednesday, it preceded the Team Canada Olympic roster announcement that came at 10 o'clock. And Eddie and I, bounced it around this morning, and we talked about it tons on Wednesday, obviously. I don't know if there were any real surprises, but maybe a few eyebrow raises. Do you think that's fair to say? And if so, where did those, or what made your eyebrows raise, if anything, on the Team Canada side of things?
I think the biggest one for me is Sam Bennett, for sure. The biggest one for me is Sam Bennett. I mean, all he did since the Four Nations was go out and win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
That's a good point.
Like to me, the one thing that guys like Hyman and we talked about all the Oilers that didn't make it. The one thing they have over a lot of guys is in very recent sample sizes of playing exceptionally well in the biggest games of the year. You pick some guy off of a team that's played one playoff round. Have we really seen him play a big game, an important game? How's he looked in that game? Maybe he's never played in a big game, right? Like, the Oilers guys and Sam Bennett have played in huge games, and he was the best guy in the playoffs by Conn Smythe voters. So that one gets me. And I think the whole the line of thinking where they go, well, he hasn't been that great since the Cup. I want to say, how's Binnington been?
He's the backup player on his own team.
Fair enough.
So that one gets me. Like, I'm not sure that, I didn't like Cirelli in the Four Nations, and I don't know why we're going to like him again here, but he makes the team, and I know Cooper loves him and all that stuff. We got all these guys. Is Stone skate well enough for this team?
I certainly didn't think so at the Four Nations face-off, but I guess Cooper and Armstrong and the rest of them are building a team in like the sense of they're not just focused on taking what we deem as the best players, because call spade a spade, Mark Stone and Anthony Cirelli are not among the 14 best Canadian forwards that are available to them.
But every year we argue every year, and most years the Team Canada wins.
So
right, most years Team Canada wins. So I mean, you're asking me what I think is weird about it. I'm telling you, but I step back and say my trust is in this management group because they always win. Well, if they went there and lost, I'd say, well, why do we trust these guys? They don't. They go there and they win. So why aren't we all shutting up and let them do their work?
Outside of maybe guys being selected to the team because they're John Cooper's guys, and even when you look at the U.S. roster with like Brock Nelson, JT Miller on it, who could be question marks, do you think some players are chosen because they maybe missed out on previous Olympics? So it's kind of, quote unquote, owed to some of these players?
I don't know, Eddie. Look, I don't think there's any time for that, right? I think, you can sure question the American team too. Like Lane Hudson doesn't make it. Cole Caulfield doesn't make it. Man, he's been good in Montreal.
Yeah.
But
Jason Robertson he's 8th in the league in scoring. He doesn't make it.
Jason Robertson doesn't make it.
Vincent Trocheck makes it, and Miller. The Rangers are terrible this year. Neither of them have been particularly good. So it's the difference being for the American side is that they did not win and have not won at a best on best type of competition for, some time, right? So it begs a question a little bit more. And the Americans clearly going for a speed, skill, youth movement type team, but still leaving out guys like Hudson and Caulfield,
Speed,
like
skill,
you
and
mentioned,
youth.
Spec, and youth, right? All
Yeah.
three
Well,
things.
I mean, listen, I guess to play devil's advocate, they did get to overtime in games, in the final of the Four Nations and had 3 wicked chances to win the game and didn't win it. So
exactly.
in terms of team building, they did build a team that had every chance to win. In the last Olympics, they played Canada and wasn't it? Is that what was the last Olympics?
The 14 was the Sochi one, so they lost to the Swedes.
That's it. They lost to the Swedes. Okay,
right?
so anyway, my point is they build a pretty good team there, and it comes down to the end. I feel at the end it's on the players. Like it's it's like the Oilers. Stan Bowman and Ken Holland, they did build a team that went 6 and 7 games deep in the Stanley Cup final. I kind of stopped looking at the GM at that point, start looking at the players to get the job done, frankly. You're obviously good enough to be there. You're good enough to get deep into a Stanley Cup final playoff series. Turns out Florida was better. Turns out most years Canada's a little bit better than the U.S. somehow. But, when you're an OT and you're not burying chances like the Americans weren't, I'm not looking at the management team for that.
It's a very, very good point and one that's well taken, Spec. Spec, have yourself a great weekend. We will look forward to a chat with you on Monday. Oilers in action tomorrow for a matinee against the Flyers. Hopefully can get a few things corrected and bust themselves out of this, as you said, kind of post-Christmas lull a little bit. Thanks as always, and we'll chat on Monday.
Stick to your resolution, Spec.
Eddie, I was hoping you'd pick up a shovel and come out and visit me out here at the lake.
Too busy, man. Too busy. I got resolutions to conquer.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Thanks, Spec. We'll talk to you on Monday. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet and On the Mark, powered by Northgate. This truck's for you. You wouldn't go out and use those big muscles of yours to shovel Spec's property at the lake?
I guess if the price is always right, Bob.
What was the number he quoted you on Monday?
Oh, I think it was free 99.
Oh, I don't know. I think Spec said he was willing to pay. It's just a matter of if he's willing to pay
If he
enough.
can match my hourly rate here at Sports 1440, I'm there, baby.
Yeah. And just to add on to the American team discussion, I really do think, and we haven't really mentioned this, their best addition to the team is one that would have been there, but was hurt in Quinn Hughes, right? He's the second best defenseman in the NHL by a lot of metrics, a lot of arguments. And could have he been the difference at the Four Nations for them? Yeah, maybe, but this is a loaded blue line that the Americans really have. So it's some text chiming in on similar notes and a few other text messages. We can get to them when we return, and we'll also dip back into the NFL Week 18 slate. We got some picks to make.
Some juicy
Eddie
games.
Steele jumping in on Kevin Karius' behalf. Can he close the gap? I think Kevin's down 9 right now.
I don't think that's possible.
Down
I think
9 right now.
You blew him out of the water.
Well,
this year.
I offered the option to do some college football games with Kevin too, and he didn't seem too interested on Wednesday to do that.
You blew the doors off
I
him.
would think he'd be wanting every game possible to try and claw his way back.
Nah, he accepted defeat.
Yeah, that's also at this point because he's taking all these Fridays off and leaving the pick for the likes of you, Josh,
Exactly.
Donovan.
He's just taking his L's on the chin.
Whoever else is just walking by in the studio on any given day. So we'll dive into that when we return, and we'll go in or out with Eddie and Donovan at 8:40. And 9 o'clock hour, Jordan Hall from NBC Sports covering the Flyers will be with us. And in the 10 o'clock hour, Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Lowtide talks some college football. And at 10:20, David Dwork live from Lone Depot Park down in Miami. We'll check in on the Winter Classic between the Panthers and the Rangers as our game of the day. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele with you here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We're back right after the break. You can watch us. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
New Year's resolutions. We all make them. We all say we're going to start eating healthier or going to the gym or starting that new hobby. But at GS Construction, we actually follow through on our New Year's resolution because it's the same every year. We promise to set the groundwork, literally, for another year of progress and growth. And we've stuck by that resolution since 1974. So start that all-you-can-eat diet. GS Construction is going to start planning right now for the year ahead. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado,
There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Looking for the perfect used ride? Now's the time. Drive away for as little as $25 bi-weekly. Go Auto has over 7,500 used vehicles in stock with something for everyone. From budget-friendly cars and road trip-ready SUVs to powerful work-ready trucks. With around 70 locations across Canada, your next vehicle is closer than you think. Whether you're upgrading, downsizing, or buying for the first time, we've got the right ride at the right price. But don't wait. These deals won't stick around forever. Start shopping today at goauto.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
Get ready.
We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Shoresy's back, and it's only on Crave.
We need total buy-in from every guy in this room.
The Smash Hit Series returns for a brand new season.
We're going to be playing the EU All-Stars.
Shoresy is facing his toughest competition yet.
This EU team is spectacular.
Yeah, I'm not scared of them.
Hear that, Shorzy?
Let's make sure they never forget who we are.
Shoresy, new season, stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Your fantasy football league sucks. Why? Oh, we've got 7 painfully accurate reasons. And don't worry, we've got fixes too. Visit fantasytoilet.com for all the tools and hilarious awards to make your fantasy league suck less.
and Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brendan Douglas, Eddie Steele, in with you this morning. KK will be back on Monday morning, we think. We hope. Never know. He might just decide to stretch it into a 5-day weekend. Wouldn't put it past him.
No, I certainly wouldn't put it past him. He'll always come up with something, man.
Yeah, exactly. But, hey, Kevin, enjoying the day off, I'm sure. Bundled up on the couch, listening to the program this morning. Surprised we haven't got a text message yet condemning us for giving him a hard time about taking a day off. Because I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. But I lied. We vacation shame here at Sports 1440.
Yes, we do.
We don't have the bodies. We simply don't have the bodies. Eddie, NFL Week 18. 3 games in particular stand out as marquee, right? And they're in the primetime slots because they're the games that are going to dictate where both teams have something to play for. We're talking tomorrow afternoon, the Buccaneers hosting the Panthers. Now, we thought for the last couple of weeks that this was going to be the decider for the division. But it's not necessarily. Now, for the Panthers, it's win and in, right? On the road, they are 3-point underdogs at Raymond James Stadium. But even if the Bucks win, they are at the fate of the Atlanta Falcons, who play Sunday morning, hosting the New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuck, my vote for Rookie of the Year on the offensive side. He'll be without top receiver Chris Olave, who's had himself an excellent season down in New Orleans. Saints playing a much better brand of football the second half of the year for sure. But the Falcons, you can kind of say the same. They upset the Rams. The Falcons are such a frustrating team, almost sort of like the Oilers, or we talk about the Ravens, where it's like you look at the roster and you say,
there's tools.
This team should actually, when you look at the injuries the Bucks had to start the year, you'd be like, the Falcons should win this division.
Absolutely.
But they just can't get out of their own way sometimes. That being said, the Buccaneers face a win and you're out scenario. They beat the Panthers. If the Falcons win Sunday morning, the spot goes to the Panthers still. It's a unique situation.
It all falls on Kirk Cousins' shoulders.
Kirky Chains.
I wonder if he shows up, because he has had a couple of games where he's looked,
Does
really
Kirk
good.
Cousins look at the success Brock Purdy is having and, feeling a little swag? God forbid a white boy has some motion out there on his Dougie celebrations.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins is like, hey, that was me one time.
Yes.
I was that guy ripping it up with Jay Jettis in Minnesota.
true.
And comes out, and I've liked the way Cousins has played for the most part since coming in for the injured Michael Penix Jr. We've talked about it on the show. I fully expect him to get a chance to be a starting quarterback somewhere next season, whether that's competing against a rookie, two veterans battling it out in camp for one of these QB needy teams that don't like what they see in the draft, whatever the situation. I think he's played well enough to get that opportunity.
I would agree with that. It's amazing with the injury that he had. He tore his Achilles.
Yeah, it's amazing that at 38 years old, it takes more than the minimum required time to recover fully from a pretty brutal injury.
A big one. But I never thought that he would finish the career strong, and he has proven me completely wrong, because there's still some game in that arm.
Absolutely. And like,
no mobility, Duke, though. No mobility.
Which
was
never the strength of his game, but he did have a little bit of elusiveness in the pocket, right? And I do think that has become more limited. But yeah, like, you got to give the guy credit. And as much as from when he was on the quarterback Netflix first season stuff, and he was like, man, this is just the world's nicest guy. He is a competitor.
Oh,
absolutely. He's got some real fire in those bones. You don't make it to where he has without that. And he has been the big benefactor of situational circumstance, in franchise tagged in Washington, and then the huge ticket in Minnesota. He's made so much money
north
in
of
the
300
NFL,
million,
and he's likely to get bought out and sign another ticket.
He's
now,
one of the highest earners ever in the NFL.
in the history of the sport. It's insane.
It is insane.
All the power to him. But the other games with of consequence. So San Francisco hosting Seattle Saturday night. Niners are underdogs at home by 1.5 to the Seahawks. Winner of this game wins the NFC West and takes the number 1 seed in the conference, gets the first round bye, which, if you're the Niners, can only be a good thing in the sense that a week you don't have to play just means like maybe you could get someone back from injury. Now, a lot of the guys, they're out for the season regardless. We know this, but I don't know.
They're nicked. They're a nicked up team.
They're a constantly nicked up team. So a free week,
It's
rest,
huge.
recuperate, come back full guns blazing. And then the Sunday nighter, we talked about it at 7:20 with Cordell Woodland. Ravens in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field. They're going to get Renegade playing. And the Ravens favored on the road in this one too by 3.5 points. And there are some other games with seeding consequences around the like New England, the Rams, Chargers, Denver, Chicago, Bills, Houston, Jacksonville, all with seeding implications in their games.
Out of these 3 big games that you mentioned, that actually hold some big merit with standings, which is the juiciest to you? Would it be the NFC number 1 overall?
I think that's the obvious choice. And the other 2 ones we disregard. We put them on a lower tier because of the way that those teams have played the whole season. We said it, pillow fight in the AFC North. I don't even know if a pillow fight is an appropriate term. That might be too maniacal for what the NFC South has been
too violent
this season. I've loved the Panthers, but they're still an inconsistent team, and they got holes around the roster. Ted McMillan is absolutely a future number 1 wide receiver in this league. but he has struggled a little bit more in the past
Bryce
few
has
weeks.
shown some promise.
Oh,
though.
he's shown a lot of growth. And that's why I think the Panthers as a team, as a fan base, as an organization, can say, all right, we still have the right pieces in place here. I think David Canales is a good coach, another former OC of the Bucks, that they let go. They let Liam Cohen go, who's going to be a coach of the year finalist, I would think, for what he's done in Jacksonville. And they let him go. And now they're sitting there with Todd Bowlesman like, we don't want this guy as our coach anymore. But what are you going to do?
After winning the NFC South for how many years? Four straight
years, Eddie. But I think his overall record is like 4 games above 500.
Yikes. That's not pretty. I'm glad that you said that.
It's not
quite an
great.
asterisk in there.
Division titles are great. They guarantee you a playoff spot. But winning what has so obviously been the worst division, and I'll hear an argument, maybe even make the argument, that this recent stretch of NFC South football is the worst we've seen from any single division in the modern format. And because
there's an argument there.
The AFC East, right?
Minus the Super Bowl.
For so long, the AFC East was just the Patriots beating the living crap out of the other 3 teams.
Tampa got that Super Bowl.
But the Patriots won, like they were a good team. Now the Bucks, they won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady since then.
Yeah.
Since
And
then,
it
they
was
won.
just that
Since
one
then, they
year with-
still won the division, but
Mediocre.
But like first round
And
playoff
what were they
exits and
before Tom Brady came?
a team that was like, oof, Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, Jay, he's my boy, though. I like Jay Winston.
The season right before Tom Brady was Winston's 30-30 season.
Eating dubs.
30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I cannot fathom us ever seeing that again. What starting quarterback throws 30 interceptions and gets to still play every week?
30 picks. Wow. That's
tough to do.
insane.
That's
That is tough to
that
do.
is tough
When
to
you
do.
look at some of the numbers, like what does Matt Stafford have? 4 or 5 on the year?
And he threw 3 last week.
He's in the MVP running. I get it. But even when you look at some of the JJ McCarthy, like he's not close to even throwing, you know,
like this year,
teams.
Tua leads, and he hasn't played the last couple weeks, for granted.
What does he have?
But so he has 15, I think,
There
Donovan,
you
right?
go.
Which is tied for the league lead.
Yeah, I think it's 15.
The 2 guys who lead the league in interceptions have lost their starting jobs. Geno Smith and Tua Tagovailoa, and they've thrown half as many as Jameis Winston threw over a full year.
That's epic, man.
That's
epic.
It is a staggering statistic. HD texted in 1-833-401-1440. We'll get our picks here quickly before we go to break, Eddie. 34-33. Josh just texted me the actual stat. That's Todd Bowles' record as a head coach, by the way.
You're right. You said 4 games over.
Yeah, he's one game over.
One game over. I'm
game over
tripping.
500.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's even worse than I said. But anyway, Donovan, can you confirm this for us that Quinn Hudson and Ike Howard both recalled from Bakersfield?
Can confirm that, and your leader, for picks is Gino.
Legend.
With 17. Tua is
What a legend. That's a guy that didn't play a couple games. So power to him.
Wow.
Power to him. So we'll dive into this Howard and Hudson news when we return over the course of the rest of the show. But really quickly, Eddie, let's burn through some picks here. So you have first go, your choice of the Saturday games to start. Tampa -3 hosting the Panthers. Seattle 1.5 points on the road against San Francisco.
I'm taking the Bucks.
You think so, hey?
Yeah, taking the Bucks points in
Okay.
that game.
You take the Bucks and the points. I will take the Niners at home to cover it. I think they'll get the number 1 seed. I like Seattle's such a good team. Sam Darnold, he just keeps doing it. I don't know, but I think that
That's
this
a
is
tough one to
this
pick.
this rings eerily reminiscent of last year's week 16 game against the Lions. He went out there with a chance to secure the 1
Absolutely.
seed and didn't have his best
No,
outing. And
and
it was
then
kind of the beginning of the
Followed up by the playoff game.
Followed up by the playoff game where the Rams ate him alive.
9 sacks.
So, I'll take San Francisco there. That leaves you with the Sunday night pick. Ravens -3.5 in Pittsburgh. Sunday Night Football.
Baltimore making the playoffs.
I have to think it, right?
Have to. With Lamar out there, you look at what Aaron Rodgers has for weapons, which is nothing.
Literally nothing. Even when you look at DK Metcalf's statistics on the year, they don't blow you away, right? He's not putting up a 1,500 yard season, but he makes the defense have to respect him on the field. And without him out there, they're like, cover Kenneth Gainwell, cover the other running back, Jalen Warren, and maybe cover one of the 3 tight ends they have on the field every snap.
So
which doesn't include Darnell Washington, who's the hardest guy to cover.
Exactly. So now what's a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers to do?
Dump it off to Kenneth Gainwell and hope for the best.
Yuck.
Pretty gross. When we return, we'll go in or out. Donovan's cooked up a nice little list. I can't wait to dive into them here during the break and see what he's got going for us. Brandon Douglas, Eddie Steele, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, all in studio this morning. It's the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Everyone's a winner during Wish and Win at Wolf GMC Buick. But hurry, it ends January 2nd. Every single customer is guaranteed at least a $500 bonus with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. At Wolf GMC Buick, we also have 0% financing up to 84 months on most of our popular SUVs and trucks. And we're clearing out remaining 25s, including cash discounts up to $10,000 on a great selection of Sierra HDs. But hurry in now, it ends January 2nd. Wolf GMC Buick, where everyone wins.
Send off your holiday break with Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings get a rare visit from the Seattle Thunderbirds.
Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Seattle Thunderbirds, WHL Hockey for the holidays. Family Fun Sunday at 4.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. This is the time of year people make their New Year's resolutions. If they're lucky, they'll keep that up till February. So I propose another resolution. This year, resolve to be camp ready. Now, what do I mean by that? At Noble RV, camp ready means never wondering if your RV will be ready for May long weekend. You know it'll be ready because you made the decision back in the winter. You know, now.
Is Camp Ready something I can get from Noble RV?
That's right, Bob. Camp Ready is our 12-month RV maintenance plan. It includes winterization in the fall, startup in the spring, roof assessments every year, and all your scheduled maintenance. So when you want to get to the great outdoors, you already know you're Camp Ready.
How do I get to be Camp Ready, Rick?
We're starting small, Bob. Just 100 Camp Ready plans are available at No Bull right now.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Back into the Kevin Karius Show, 8:42 in Edmonton. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. He'll be back Monday morning, bright and early, to recap all of this weekend's festivities. In the meantime, I got Eddie Steele alongside teeing it all up, talking Oilers. We haven't really dove into the World Juniors just yet, but don't worry, we got lots of show to do that. They are in quarterfinal action tonight against Slovakia after a really wild game on New Year's Eve between them and the Finns. It was goals aplenty. Do they go back with Carter George, who in the past, like, even with Canada's finish last year, Carter George was easily their best player as the goaltender. He does not have a very strong outing against the Finns. I'm pretty confident they're going back to him, but there is a little discourse about maybe Jack Ivan Kovic getting a look in the net there as well. Donovan Paulson and Josh Fenwick are alongside in studio with us. In case you missed it, the Oilers recalling Quinn Hudson and Ike Howard from Bakersfield. I'm sure as the morning progresses and the team gets on the ice, we might get some indication of their potential drawing into the lineup for tomorrow's matinee against the Philadelphia Flyers. That means 2 people have to come out of the lineup. Who could it be? We will chat about all that and a little bit more during In or Out with Donovan Paulson.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
Just before we turn things over to DP, Eddie, you made your song selection for Playlist Friday there. A little Space Jam action.
Yeah, baby.
We've heard that one on the show before.
Have we?
It's a beauty. Oh, yeah. I think you picked it before.
Maybe I have. My kids have been just killing it, like every day watching it.
The OG or the LeBron James?
No, the OG now. The OG.
Is LeBron James Space Jam banned in your household?
No, haven't even watched it yet, to be honest. They're just so into the old Looney Tunes. That's some of the cartoons we watch, is some of the old school stuff.
That's awesome.
Pretty intense now. Some of the language is,
Yeah. There's a few storylines that were probably best to be removed from wherever those cartoons are available for viewing. But hey, it's a different
You
time.
could say, hey, you could also say that though about some stuff nowadays.
Oh,
but
for sure you could.
I rest my case.
Exactly. All right, Donnie, what do you got for us this morning?
Alrighty, fellas. Well, the Oilers, of course, I'm feeling they're now in a spot where this doesn't change now with the call up of Quinn Hudson and Ike Howard, but they're needing to bring in 2 bottom sixes at least, instead of that top 6 guy we've all kind of talked about and thought was Alex Tuck.
Yeah, it's funny you bring this up, Don, because I was having this internal discussion yesterday on the heels of the New Year's Eve game. And I actually thought about me bringing it up with Spec. We had other things to discuss, but it kind of, so Eddie, I'll take Donovan's question and kind of reframe it in a sense to you. If you had to pick one thing for the Oilers to add to this team, is it a third line center, a top line scoring winger, or a top 4 defenseman?
Oh, out of those 3. Now, what about when Wallman's back, right? Because that changes things.
It does. But when Wallman's playing, he's asked to play on his offside.
Yes, very true. I would go a third line center.
Okay.
Because when Wallman's healthy, if you're getting a good Wallman, good Nurse, good Boosh, good Ekholm, and then Stasny skating, that's 5 really solid defensemen.
Yep. It's a fair point. So then now to Donovan's question, do you think that the team needs 2 new bottom 6 forwards, which I think is a third line center and maybe somebody else?
I do.
So you're in.
I do. I would be in. With the news that we just saw. It's pretty interesting.
I think I'm going to be out because in reality, a bottom 6 player, the cost of acquisition via trade is not super high. But if you're looking for a difference maker type bottom 6 player, or one that is maybe playing in a higher role for a lesser team, aka a team that's going to be selling here approaching the deadline, and you're like, all right, yeah, I know you're playing second line with the Predators or with the Sabres, although Sabres winners of 10 in a row. We want you to come here and be our third line winger. Just because you're going to play them in that spot doesn't mean that the team you're getting them from views them that way. You still might have to pay a second line price tag to acquire them.
Right.
I don't know if the Oilers have that ability to get 2 good third line players. Now, the question is bottom 6 in general. You go and get a fourth liner, sure. Between Curtis Lazar, Matthias Janmark, Kasperi Kapanen, Adam Henrique, those are 4 players that I'm comfortable playing in my bottom 6. The arguments about Henrique, yes, he's not a third line center. He's not anymore. But as a fourth line guy that can kill penalties, win faceoffs, not really make any mistakes, I'm comfortable with him in the fourth line spot. And if not, you have Curtis Lazar, Henrique's your spare. Lazar does a lot of the same thing. A third line center, and then like you're left with a combination of Mangiapane, Frederic, maybe Savoy if he's pushed down the lineup. I'm not sure that I feel the need for a second bottom six forward in this case.
Now, do you think Quinn Hudson or Isaac Howard can fill those voids with their scoring output that we've seen at the AHL level? Because both of them are filling the stat sheet right now.
Would I like to see them get an extended leash to see that if it can be a scoring third line addition? Either one of them, not necessarily both of them.
Yes.
I would like to see that. But what we know about Chris Knobloch is that most likely we are never going to get the opportunity to even see it.
It's a short leash, man.
Like they will be slotted in on the third or fourth line, most likely.
Take your
play
6 minutes.
8 to 10 minutes. And that'll be that.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't say that better in terms of those two. I look at, you've heard Kiefer Sherwood, the market for him looks to be kind of moving here as we are now in January, and maybe he gets moved sometime in the next couple of weeks here. If I'm the Oilers, that's a guy I'm all in on. I don't care if it takes a first round pick. You need some level of physicality. You need some level of bite. He's not the third line center that you need, but I'm sorry, like Kiefer Sherwood is a player that the Oilers absolutely need. They have no physicality. They have no jam. And Kiefer Sherwood is a player, regardless of if you think he's a flash in the pan, which he clearly isn't because he's had 2 really, really quality seasons in a row. He's the NHL's hits leader last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a player where I'm looking and saying, first round pick for a third line winger, you might go, and cringe. You have to pay. I think.
Wow.
I think you have to pay.
First round pick.
It's a first round pick. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the ask.
To me, that just gives off Trent Frederick vibes.
But
there's a very different
a first round pick for Sherwood as maybe just a rental. Usually you see that type of price for a player with a little more offensive upside. And listen, he's scored 20. How many did he score last year? 20?
He's 18.
Yeah, and he's on track to be in the even surpass that this year. Led the league in hits. I'm in agreement, Donovan, that is a great player to bring in. But if that's the price you're paying, you do not have the assets to bring in anybody else.
You can ship Andrew Mangiapane off in that deal, and that first round pick. If you're doing Mangiapane,
then you're gonna have to pay more to get rid of him.
Hey,
you have to eat some of that.
I don't know if anybody's going to pay the first round price tag. That's why I say maybe you can throw Andrew Mangiapane in the first in there, and maybe that gets you Sherwood. But that's only speculation. We have no idea what the actual price tag is going to end up being.
I could definitely see a team paying a first for him. I absolutely can, for sure.
Off to number 2, Jason Robertson, of course, the Olympic news coming down for Team USA and others this morning. Of all the snubs, of all the omissions, Jason Robertson is easily the worst.
And this is from all teams.
All teams.
Any Olympic roster.
Olympic roster.
So
Canada,
I haven't had the
Sweden,
chance
whatever.
to fully look at Sweden and Finland announced theirs this morning as well. Now, we know most of the big names, and even like we saw how Finland ended up at the Four Nations face-off. They're bringing guys like AHL players. Now, it's the Olympics. They have a lot of overseas players that they can add instead of minor leaguers here in North America. So, hold back full judgment on that because we're maybe not familiar with all these guys. But for Canada and USA, this is where the snub conversation is at its height because of the plethora of options that both countries possess. I'm going to be out, and I'm going to say it's Mark Scheifele.
Yeah, I was going to say it too.
I just like this is. Was it Josh? Or you the one that said it? Oh no, you weren't here. Somebody else said it that it was like essentially feels like the Isaiah Thomas on the dream
Connor,
team,
I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe it was Cons. Like for the USA basketball dream team, like based on the criteria, I met the requirements. What more could have Mark Scheifele done to earn a spot on this team? We were surprised he wasn't on the Four Nations face-off team. He responded by having another great start to this campaign. And he still left off in favor of players with, the only credentials they hold over him essentially is team success, being Stanley Cups.
Not individual, team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And like, I don't know, Mark Scheifele, I don't think is ever going to win a Selke trophy. I think he has made a lot of strides in the last number of seasons for sure in his defensive game. He's not a shutdown center. He's not Anthony Cirelli. But I always fall back on thinking, like, if you really want a shutdown center, ask Sidney Crosby to your third line center and shut down the other team's top line. He's Sidney Crosby. He will do it.
For the first time in history, I'm neither in nor out. Because if you look at the numbers, man, Mark Scheifele and Jason Robertson are tied for 8th in league scoring. Both have 48 points.
Yeah.
So it's like the exact same argument either way for USA or Canada. The exact same argument.
I think Canada is deeper up front. So I look and say, while Mark Scheifele's having a great season, while I love the player that is Mark Scheifele, I look at, to me, the battle was Bo Horvat or Mark Scheifele. With Horvat, you sacrifice some offense, but maybe not as much offense as you're sacrificing from a Jason Robertson versus, the next alternative. Like, you're taking JT Miller over Jason Robertson. What the hell are we doing? Like, honestly.
So how about this? I'll throw another thing into the mix here just to stir up Oilers fans and you two. So I said, I just pulled up the Swedish roster. Matthias Ekholm is not on it. And Philip Broberg is.
Ooh. Duke. Dirty boy.
Does this all of a sudden jump in? Is that the biggest snub?
Wow.
No.
I'll be honest. As disappointed as Oilers fans that neither Hyman nor Bouchard made Team Canada, and now this news that Matthias Ekholm is not going to be playing for Sweden, you're like,
that's good.
They deserve to be there, but
take the break.
Free couple weeks off.
Yeah, man, take the break.
And for a guy like Ekholm at this stage, he had a pretty rough start to the season coming off that injury that clearly plagued him even when he got back into the lineups in last year's playoffs. He looks much better as of late. Looks, getting very close to the top pairing guy that we've seen in the past. At his age, at this point of his career, I'm sure he would love to be there, chance to represent his country. But this might be better for the
more
Oilers.
hockey is the last thing he needs right now at his age.
I would kind of agree. Now, the case, the Bouchard and Hyman thing, they're younger guys. Hyman, yeah, he was coming off this injury, but he seems to have put that behind him. And you feel for a guy like for Ekholm, because I don't think he was on the 2014 Swedish team, was he?
Oh man, I would need to.
I might have to fact check myself on that.
Fellas,
this is a guy that's he's like been one of the best defenseman from his country for his generation, and he will not get the chance to play in an Olympics.
Shoulda, couldas, and what's done is done. But just imagine if Broberg was on this defensive roster with Bouchard, two of the young best D men in the league. How cool would that have been?
It would have been.
Just imagine.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Coulda, shoulda.
Off to number 3 here, fellas. Of course, the week 18 in the NFL. Of all the matchups with some kind of meaning and some kind of stakes, I'm saying the only one I feel confident in is Ravens over the Steelers.
I'm out because I don't feel confident in any of them. Like, as much as we talked about no Metcalf, no Washington, old as hell Aaron Rodgers, and the Ravens, on paper, this should be a clear-cut playoff team. Why aren't they a clear-cut playoff team then? Why are they playing for the last spot on the last day of the regular season, second last day of the regular season? Or no, they are the last day, Sunday night.
Last game.
Why are they in that spot if it's so clear-cut? They are a team that has some sort of bad juju going on around them, injuries, the defense up and down, Lamar coming back. So I'm out only because I'm not confident in any of them.
I'm going to be in. I think the Ravens have a significantly better roster in this matchup against the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers has nobody. And if the Ravens do happen to lose this game, which they should be, and they're favored, right? I believe they're favored going in.
Sorry.
The Ravens?
Yes. Yeah.
If they happen to lose this game, I think that will be the closure of their window, because they are in a window still. They have a really talented roster. I know Lamar's been banged up, so this season hasn't gone the way he'd like. They have the number 1 rushing offense still, despite all the chaos that surrounded this organization this year. Still the number 1 rushing team in the league with Derrick Henry. Now, like Cordell said, do you want to give him 36 touches, upwards to 40 touches? Probably not. We'll see what type of game Lamar has coming off the injury But if they do lose this game, I think it's the window closing.
Mm-hmm.
All I needed to see to believe that the Ravens were going to win this game was last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers with their, I'm not going to say season on the line, but
yes,
it was pretty important. You threw to MVS 3 consecutive times in the red zone. And that was enough for me to say, okay, you're done.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
3 consecutive pass attempts to MVS. That is, we're not serious here. We're not good enough. Goodbye, Pittsburgh Steelers. Your season is over.
It's like they don't believe it themselves almost.
I can't believe you would MVS of all people to throw 3 consecutive balls to in the end zone.
Yeah, didn't you know he had Adam Thielen out there too?
I know they didn't exactly have a ton of options there, but good God, I totally forgot MVS even existed prior to that. Off to number 4, the Oilers' New Year's resolution should be to find a way to be more consistent and predictable defensively and find some sort of baseline defensive effort.
Eddie, you go ahead and lead on this one.
Yeah, I'd be in on this, Donnie. Really, the consistent word is what stands out to me. The highs can't be so high and the lows can't be so low for this team. They need to be a little more even keel. The offensive highs are brilliant, but the offensive lows and Bouchard, he is now, keep in mind, he's limited it. It hasn't been as disastrous, the big, large pizza pies he's given up. But those lows can be quite low for this team defensively. So if they can limit that and stable themselves out a little bit more in the middle, yeah, that would be a nice resolution.
Yeah, I'm going to be in as well. My only asterisk on this is easier said than done. If it could be done, they would have done it already.
They are who they are.
They are who they are. This is a roller coaster type team. At their best, they're right there with the best in the NHL. I'll say it. Yes, Colorado's run away with it. The Oilers, when they are at their peak of playing, can play with the Avalanche at their peak. I firmly believe that. The problem is right now the Oilers' floor is still unacceptably low.
They'll play down to their opponents too much.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Eddie. So I am in that. Like, if I could pick one thing to fix about this team, they have not won 3 games in a row. Now, is there times where they've deserved to win 3 games in a row, like by their play? Yeah, maybe. But there's also been times they won 2 in a row where they shouldn't have won either of them. So you give and you take. That's the nature of sport. But for the sake of this, I am in that. I would like to see them be more consistent.
I feel like this is the exact same thing we've said for the past 4 seasons. And if they could do it, they would do it. Yeah. But man, it's at some point you've got to flip the switch if you're the Oilers, and I don't want to say show more maturity, but to me, it's just maybe a little bit maturity. You got to find a way to become more of a consistent team and stop having these crazy highs and crazy lows. But off to number 5, National Science Fiction Day. For me, the most underappreciated sci-fi franchise is the Planet of the Apes movies.
Ooh, I mean, the low-hanging fruit would be Star Wars.
Underappreciated. Not best.
Okay. Underappreciated. Okay. Yeah, thank you for getting me right. In my personal opinion, I'm going to say Jurassic. The Jurassics.
Are they underappreciated?
They could get a little more love.
I mean, hey, I love Jurassic Park. Now,
the originals,
the
too.
reboot of it, a little bit less. So I have not seen the newest ones, but the original 3 movies, like, dude, that was my life. I was obsessed as a kid.
I feel like they don't get the love, the shine they deserve anymore.
I'm going to be out as well, and I'm going to go in a sort of a similar direction in the sense that maybe like there's an argument if it's underappreciated or not. I'm going to say Transformers.
Oh, that was the dirty little secret the way you said that.
When the first live action Transformers came out, Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, Lordy, it was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
The Autobots.
Like Michael Bay, maybe not an Academy Award winning type director, but he knows how to make a blockbuster, baby. And so the Transformers movies were sick.
You know what, Duke? You're kind of speaking my language here. The first Transformers movie was awesome. I love that movie so
There's
much.
one reason
I've-
you guys liked it.
It's actually.
You're right.
I mean, Megan. Shut up, Megan.
What an actor.
Fox.
Yeah.
But-
Who replaced her in like the third one?
Jason Statham's now wife.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Jason Statham. I'm like,
no.
different strokes,
This
Donnie.
is basically like that was basically like her only movie. She's married to Jason Tatum and is or Jason Statham and is a model.
Jason Tatum.
Your
favorite player.
That first movie, excellent. Everything after that, absolute garbage. So as a whole, I can't agree with you. But like the Planet of the Apes movies, if you haven't seen them, severely underappreciated.
Yeah, so I'll go right hand up here. I have not seen any of the Planet of the
Any
Apes.
of them?
No.
Oh.
My most familiarity with Planet of the Apes is that episode of The Simpsons where it's like the parody live play that they're at. And it's like Dr. Seuss. And then it's like the musical. Anytime that comes across my social feed, I watch it in its entirety. It is so funny. So that is the most familiarity I have with Planet of the Apes.
The second
Dr.
one,
Seuss, Dr. Seuss.
Dawn for the Planet of the Apes. That is, for me in my mind, one of the best sequels of all time.
All right, Donovan. This weekend I'm watching all of
Dawn
them.
of the Apes.
Dawn
of the Planet of the
Dawn
Apes.
yeah, that's a good
one
one.
of the best sequels of all time.
Andy Serkis is so good at his job. Like they hit the nail on the head. I like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes are those movies.
Oh,
Man,
they're
I gotta go
fantastic.
and watch these again.
There is
It's been a
no
while.
reason that those movies should be as good as they are. Like it's a bunch of talking apes and they're fighting people. They shouldn't be very good, but they are incredible. The first one's good, but you're right, Josh. Like Dawn and Rise are awesome. If you haven't seen them,
Fired up.
highly recommend them this weekend.
Donovan, very entertaining edition of In or Out today. Well done. Thank you for your contribution, pulling the marathon shift today. Did not stop you. You didn't mail it in. Got to appreciate
Trooper.
that. Eddie, another couple hours just flying by. You're not even mad about keeping you late today because no recording for Elks Nation. You guys taking the weekend off.
Taking the day off
for
today.
the holiday season. Very well earned.
Back
So
on
what else do
Monday.
you got going on for the next couple days before we reconvene Monday morning?
Well, I'm hitting the highway down to Airdrie. Gonna go spend some time with the family,
Right.
mother-in-law. Go see the grandparents. It was so funny over there, Donnie.
Someone chimed in with their favorite science fiction movie. Let's
Yeah.
just say
I'll read it. I don't care.
Go for it.
Oddball. How about science friction movies? Sex Wars 2069, a sex odyssey. Now, I'm not familiar with those ones either.
Said science friction.
Science friction.
Yeah.
Oddball, whatever you do in the security, privacy of your own
oddball.
home,
Stay on.
that's yours, brother.
That's funny.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
you,
you're
Eddie.
good, man. You're good. Yeah, just hitting Airdrie, man. Gonna spend a couple of days with family, kind of put the bow on all the celebrations for the holidays, and then
Nice.
come on back up. School starts next week. Back into the grind.
Well,
I'm still not working, but school starts.
you'll be working here.
I'll be here.
You'll be here. KK back Monday morning. Thanks, Eddie. Have a great weekend. Appreciate your time as always, and Happy New Year.
Hey, you're bringing it today, Duke. Keep it up, man. Good work.
Thank you. Eddie Steele, former CFLer, Grey Cup champion, all-decade team, and also co-host of Elks Nation. 2 podcasts a week. Won't be one out this weekend, but they'll obviously be back at it on Monday for a recording, if my memory serves me correctly. So articles, Gregor, Declan, even our listener, Brian Desjardins, all contributing. You can read as well as listen to what they got going on over at Elks Nation. When we return, we will play catch up on the time here. We'll also read some text messages. I got a first round gift card to give away, $50 to the downtown location. We'll have a little NFL trivia for the weekend. You can get your text in to try and win that. Jordan Hall coming up at 9:20 will tee up Flyers and Oilers, which goes tomorrow afternoon from Rogers Place. Before that, Sports 1440 update brought to you by First Round. Sundays got even better at First Round. You can win an NFL helmet or jersey and enjoy their Pro Bowl brunch only at Edmonton's NFL headquarters, First Round, downtown or on Bourbon Street. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
On the ice last night, the Habs took down the Canes 7-5 in a barn burner. The Sens snuck past the Caps for 3. The Leafs edged out the Jets 6-5 off an Austin Matthews hat trick. The Pens beat the Wings 4-3 in overtime. And the Mammoth, they toppled the Isles 7-2. Olympic roster news for the United States. They have named their roster. 2 key names left off, Jason Robertson and Adam Fox. Matthias Ekholm has also failed to make Team Sweden. In some other Oilers news, Ike Howard and Quinn Hudson have been recalled from Bakersfield College football playoffs last night. Oregon blanked Texas Tech 23-0 in the Orange Bowl. Indiana dumpstered Bama 38-3 at the Rose Bowl. And Ole Miss knocked off Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. Coming up, it's hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
When the ground freezes, you wonder how anything can get done. And instead of staying outside in temperatures that would make a polar bear cry, you head inside where it's toasty and warm. But that's not what GS Construction does. Because while the ground freezes above, we plan below, rebuilding and revitalizing the systems that keep our communities working year after year. Now, don't worry. GS Construction promises to do everything safely and efficiently, and will wear our extra warm clothing outside. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
9 o'clock hour. Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch for all your video needs. If you're just a listener, that's all right too. iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and of course the terrestrial AM radio dial, all at your disposal. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. We got Josh Fenwick keeping us online on the digital side of things. Donovan Paulson pulling the marathon shift today, 7 to 6. 7 to 6, Donovan Paulson will be in this building. We'll have a little break in the middle, maybe catch a nap out on the couch here in the Stingray Lounge because the rest of Stingray off today. It is a quiet building. We got Stella and Dano over at CFCW, Terry and Pete in doing the morning show at our friends at K97 as well. But otherwise, it's a lonely place this morning. Lonely place. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Lots of them coming in. Bruce in the Park. Gents, Oilers need to sort out their bottom six after putting Roslovic with Draisaitl and Podkolzin. RNH, McDavid, Hyman, Pods, Draisaitl, Roslovic, Howard, Henrique, and Hudson, Frederick, Lazar, Kapanen, Janmark, Savoy, Mangiapane. He puts traded in the brackets beside Andrew Mangiapane. Donovan, you phrased this and kind of talked about what the Oilers look to add. For the time being, they have what they have. With the addition, or the call-ups, of Howard and Hudson, what do you see shaking out here in the bottom six or the rest of the roster, maybe specifically for tomorrow's game against Philly? Like, how would you, Donovan Paulson, head coach of the Oilers, be deploying your available personnel tomorrow?
Well, I think the obvious one is probably Andrew Mangiapane. Back to the press box you go. And you look at Chris Knoblauch, and Chris Knoblauch, I think for the most part, is a pretty easy coach to understand. You look at the minutes, you look at the lineup, and you can tell right away who's probably going to be the guys sitting. It's the guys who are holding up the least amount of minutes, which if you look from last game out, it was Mangiapane had 7 minutes and 30 seconds of ice time. Like, that is a prime case of right back to the press box you go.
And the other being Max Jones, 720, who is like, we know what Max Jones is of this team. He's a call-up from Bakersfield himself.
And back down to Bakersfield he went.
Yeah, right. So it's some things sort themselves out in that process.
I think what you're going to wind up seeing is you'll probably see Jack Roslovic back up in a top six role. You'll see some third line combination of Savoy, Howard, and probably just because it has to be Adam Henrique. And then you'll see Quinn Hudson have to try and fight for his life on the fourth line with something resembling Trent Frederick and Matthias Janmark. Like, I would assume that's what the lineup would look like, just based on knowing Chris Knoblauch, knowing how he kind of tries to manage this lineup. Like, he said himself post-game that Roslovic needs to be back in the top six. Maybe they slide Nuge down to the 3C hole, finally. That's what I would do.
With the way, because we talked about all December, that top line was going simply too well to pull them apart.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's 2 games. McDavid point streak continues. Granted, empty net goal and then the dazzling assist, which, no offense, Nuge had simply no part in. Is these last 2 games little call it a cool off enough to say, all right, that was a good run. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, we're now going to ask you to do something else.
I think you have to. If you want truly, if you're calling up Quinn Hudson and Ike Howard, you
think both will play tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon?
For me, you have to play them because your bottom six has simply been that horrible. So I would play them both, and I would be playing, as much as I hate it because it's such a small line. It's not the playoffs. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do at this point. I would be running Savoy, Nugent Hopkins, and Howard, because that is a line that in theory has, well, not in theory, has a ton of talent, and maybe they can patchwork something together there of a third line till the trade deadline. If you're going to call up Howard and Hudson, play them for the first time in your life, Chris Knoblauch. Play a young guy and decide to say, you know what? We've got a lot of wiggle room. We're first in the Pacific Division. It's not like we're suddenly falling out of the playoffs here. Play the young guys who you've just called up. Just do it. Try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You'll lose one game in January?
It's a fair point. Listen, I'm right there with you. I've talked about it ad nauseum on the previous recall of Quinn Hudson. And listen, he scored his first NHL goal in that recall, and then was sent back to Bakersfield. And just to clarify too, because it is actually not official that they have not sent anybody back to Bakersfield in corresponding.
Jones went down yesterday.
Oh, okay. My apologies. I missed. I was just looking at this morning's transactions. And okay, thank you for that clarity, Donovan. Much appreciated. Text line 1-833-401-1440. We will catch up on all of them in the 9:40 segment. Lots of about science fiction movies, some more Oilers talk. We'll continue to dive in. But before we go to break, I'm going to put the trivia question out there, and we'll give away a $50 gift card to First Round, downtown location. You know, great place to go watch any sporting event, really. They got the whole wall of TVs. Also have the location here on Bourbon Street in the mall. Donovan, you're there every Oilers game with walks, or even sometimes myself or Con Man. Great spot to take in the game, great specials. Here's my trivia question. Phillip Rivers is not playing on Sunday. They are starting Riley Leonard. Now, Rivers only needed just over 100 passing yards to move into 7th on the all-time list in the NFL. Who would he have passed if he had been able to accomplish that? So the simpler way of phrasing that, who is currently the 7th all-time passing quarterback, passing leader? Text in 1-833-414-1440. We will give away that gift card here before the hour is out. When we return, Jordan Hall from NBCS in Philadelphia covers the Flyers. Will get us ready for tomorrow's Oilers game taking on Philly. Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson, all with you here on Sports 1440. It's the Kevin Carey Show. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
.921 in Edmonton. Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show. Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Fenwick all with you here on Sports 1440 inside the Stingray Studios at West Edmonton Mall. A little quiet on this January the 2nd, first show of the new year. Oilers back in action tomorrow. They'll look to bounce back from the New Year's Eve loss at the hands of the Bruins with the Philadelphia Flyers in town for a matinee affair. And that's where we're going to head today for our Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. At Fountain Tire, when we say we're on this road together, we mean it. From tires, wheels, and oil changes to vehicle repairs. Visit fountaintire.com to find out more. We welcome back in Jordan Hall from NBCS in Philadelphia, covering the Flyers. Jordan, good morning. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for jumping on the program once again. Always appreciated.
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
So, Jordan, the Flyers on this current road trip that they're working their way through, much like so many teams in the Eastern Conference, it's kind of, keep your head above water, play some 500 hockey, and you're right around the playoff mix, most recently losing to the Flames, but winning in Vancouver prior to that. How would you sum up the Flyers' current run of play and the level that it's at here on this Western road trip?
It's been a little up and down. They went into the holiday break on a real high. They were in second place of the Metropolitan Division. Now they've had 2 losses in 3 games. In 2 of those losses, they've had just one. In each of those losses, I should say, they had 1 goal. So they're an offensive team that a team that struggles a little bit offensively, but they defend pretty well, and they've gotten great goaltending out of Dan Vladar, the goalie they signed in the offseason. So Rick Tockett's really tried to implement puck possession, letting his goalie see the puck, blocking less shots. And for the most part, they've done that. So I think really they would love to get a win in Edmonton to try to even out this road trip a little bit and bounce back from a tough loss in Calgary. And they've lost regulation games in regulation just once this season, consecutive games, I should say. They've lost consecutive games in regulation just 1 time this season. So they've done a really good job at preventing skids, picking up points. It's a big reason why they are where they are in the standings in a playoff position, because even if they haven't won, they've been getting games past regulation. They've gone to overtime 14 times. So far they've been picking up a lot of points, and I think they're hoping to do that again in Edmonton.
Jordan Hall with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. Now, Jordan, you talk about how they're actually a surprisingly stingy team on the back end and 10th in the league in goals against per game. You mentioned the strong play of Vladar, but they've got some pretty capable players on this blue line as well. And I think it's headlined by Travis Sanheim, who was named to Canada's Olympic roster on Wednesday morning. He played at the Four Nations and I thought was fine. He didn't blow anybody away and he didn't look like a liability out there either. Now, for maybe some of our listeners here on this side of the continent that don't get to watch Sanheim really regularly, speak a little bit about what makes him effective and why, if you do agree, I guess would be a better way of putting it, his inclusion on this roster and it's how it's warranted.
So it's really interesting. In Philadelphia, he's their number 1 defenseman. So he's the guy that gets the spotlight. He's the one that plays in all situations. He's been racking up over 30 minutes sometimes over the last couple of seasons. So he's a guy you can throw out in all situations. But I think what makes him pretty appealing to Canada is that he can play different styles. Like, he's a really good puck mover. He's a very good skater. So he can move the puck. But if you get him in a 6th defenseman role, or even an extra defenseman where he's needed when injury hits, you can rely on him. Like, he's going to be smart. He's going to play a steady game. He's not going to hurt you. So I think that's what really has made him appealing to Canada. It doesn't hurt that Rick Tocchet is an assistant coach. He's the head coach here in Philadelphia. So I think he had Tocchet in his corner. But I think in the Four Nations face-off, he didn't play in their first game. Then they had some injuries hit, and he got a look, and he stayed in the lineup. And I think he just showed the coaching staff that he would get in there and give them just a reliable guy that will not hurt you. And but here in Philadelphia, he does a little bit of everything, and he's been here a long time. He's in his 9th season. His career was at a crossroads here a little bit in the 2023 offseason. He was nearly traded, and that really motivated him. He ended up staying here in Philadelphia. The trade never went through that had Sanheim in it with the Blues, and it really drove him. And I think really since then, he's just been a different guy. And now he's a part of their leadership group here and a guy that leads them in minutes. And I think is really going to be a long-time Flyer and has really just come into his own. He's worked hard at his game and can give the Flyers a little bit of everything.
Jordan Hall, our guest here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Jordan covering the Flyers down in Philadelphia for NBC Sports. Now, Jordan, the rest of this defensive group, Rasmus Ristolainen recently making his return to the lineup, just 8 games played on the season. But then you've also, got some more offensive players like Cam York and Jamie Drysdale. How does the dynamic work on that back end? And even more specifically, how has Ristolainen looked since rejoining the lineup? A long time, a polarizing player on the blue line.
Ristolainen went over 9 months without game action. He's had a really troubling injury to his triceps tendon. It's ruptured twice. And the Flyers really wanted to make sure that he was healthy. Ristolainen really wanted to make sure that he was healthy this time after doing it a second time. And now he's back and he's looked really good. And he's really given them just a layer of depth that they didn't have earlier in the season. Now with Ristolainen back, they've got 3 really effective pairs. He's playing mostly on the third pair with Nick Sealer, and I think a lot of teams would like that third pair if they had it. It's two guys that are physical, that are in your face, that have good size. They just play a real defensive-minded kind of brand of hockey, and it's made the Flyers a lot deeper defensively. Now they have a young second pair in Jamie Drysdale and Emil Andre, two smaller guys that can move the puck, and then Travis Sanheim and Cam York are their top pair that they're pretty high on. So Ristolainen is just giving them some really just a deeper look on the back end. And I think when the Flyers didn't have him, they really didn't trust their third pair a whole lot at all. And now they can throw Ristolainen and Sealer out there in multiple looks, especially defensively, and it just gives them a third pair that can give them 20 minutes if they want to, and ask them to give them that.
And they traded away Igor Zamula, excuse me, a guy that, expressed his frustration a little bit with the opportunity inside the organization. They get back Philip Tomasino, a former higher-end prospect, but he's 24 now. So is this a matter of just some organizational depth and giving Zamula the chance at a fresh start and maybe simultaneously just getting the contract off the books so give him a little more flexibility moving forward?
A little bit of all of that. Absolutely, Brandon. Zamula had kind of lost favor here in the organization, not because he was complaining about playing more. There were some rumors out of his camp that he wanted more opportunity, but he was a fine person here. He didn't really cause much distraction in the locker room or anything, but the Flyers had just gotten deeper defensively and he had fallen down the depth chart. Emil Andre's emergence really hurt him. Ristolainen getting healthy hurt him, and the Flyers have drafted some defensemen as well. So Zamula just had fallen down the depth chart. He got sent to the minor leagues. And I think at that point, he had wanted probably a new opportunity somewhere else. So they gave that to him. And I think they're a little bit intrigued by Philip Tomasino. As you said, former first-round pick, was a first-rounder in 2019, has some upside, can maybe give them some games later down the road, and he's on an expiring contract. So I think they just thought, gives them a new opportunity and get a forward in here who maybe could give them some games down the stretch.
Teeing up tomorrow afternoon's Oilers and Flyers game from Rogers Place, 1:30 Mountain Time puck drop pregame action, getting underway an hour ahead of that with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson right here on Sports 1440. So, Jordan, the forward group for this team, now Travis Konechny made the Four Nations face-off team back in January and went on to represent Canada, winning a gold medal in the process, was not named to the Olympic roster earlier this week. Was there any chatter? Have you had the chance to speak to him? I guess not being on the road, but what was the kind of scuttle around Konechny leading up to this announcement? And I guess to a T as well, how has he looked this season, maybe compared to last when he did earn that spot?
So I haven't gotten a chance to chat with him, given that they've been on the road and I've been back here in Philadelphia. But I have a feeling this is going to motivate him a good bit, because he's a guy that really, I think, did everything that Team Canada had wanted. He played for them at Four Nations. He went to the World Championship this offseason, played really well. So gave up some time, especially valuable time in the offseason, as we all know, after a long NHL season. Sometimes guys just want to be back with their families. He's a father with two young sons, and went to the World Championship, played well there, and then doesn't make their Olympic team. And I think the buzz around here was that it was going to be an uphill battle once Macklin Celebrini started playing the way he did. And just given how loaded Team Canada is up front, that Konechny was in a hard spot to make the team. But he's looked really strong this season. He's just kind of become a guy that you expect to be there night in and night out here. He wasn't like that as a younger player in his career. He was a little up and down. One night he'd be great. One night you really want to notice him. Now he's an alternate captain. He's there night in and night out. And he's looked good out of the holiday break. And I really think this Olympic snub will drive him a bit. I think he's going to try to show that he's one of the better Canadian forwards in the game. And really, it's just become like he's a point per game guy for the most part. That's how you kind of feel about him now in Philadelphia, that he's going to probably produce offense every single game and be a reliable player for them. And really a guy that leads by example. He's a bit of an agitator. He likes to stir things up. It wouldn't surprise me if he's in the middle of things on Saturday against the Oilers.
Jordan Hall with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Now, the team's leading scorer this season is a name that a lot of us out west are familiar with in Trevor Zegras, right? A former standout at the junior level in college, the U.S. World Juniors, and then had a really strong start to his NHL career in Anaheim, but kind of seemed to fade and face some injury troubles and stuff and just fell out of favor in Anaheim in what ended up being a glut of forwards with high draft picks. Now, really rejuvenated here in Philadelphia. How much credit do you give Rick Tocchet and maybe the freedom he's provided Zegras to play his type of game at this offensive rejuvenation?
Absolutely. I think Tocchet deserves a lot of credit because I just think the way the Ducks wanted Trevor Zegras to play started to affect his point production. I just think it was screaming for a change of scenery, for him to get a fresh start elsewhere. He's come here, and the Flyers have really looked at him as like a top 6 player. They gave him a chance at center. He's been playing mostly the wing now just because they have Christian Dvorak, who's really good down the middle. So they're not putting a ton on Zegras' plate from the center responsibility, but they're just letting him be himself and play. And he's bought in, to his credit. Rick Tocchet said before the season, he went up to Zegras and said, listen, do you care about clicks on social media or do you care about wins? And basically was honest with him that, hey, I know you're all over social media when you try the Michigan and when you have those highlight reel plays, but do you want to buy in and win some games here? And Zegras has taken that to heart. And Tocchet raved about him being a coachable guy. He said, like, you can get into him. You can be hard on him, almost as if he was a player in the 90s where you could light up a player a little bit and they would respond well to it. And he said he responds. He's coachable. He'll approach him the next day. He'll text Tocchet at night and say, hey, I want to watch film the next morning to go over something. So I just think the Flyers have really loved how he's approached this new opportunity. It wasn't like just come in here and be yourself, go play your fun, flashy game. He's bought into what they want to do, and then he's also gotten more freedom because of it.
Now, on the kind of opposite side of that, a player that maybe has taken a little bit of a step back this season, and the production's still there decently, 9 goals, 22 points, but it's former top 10 pick Matvei Michkov. I think there was a lot of curiosity for the same reasons we just laid out why Zegras is thriving with Tocchet, the expectations of what Michkov could do. Is it just, are we as box score watchers on the Philadelphia side looking and saying Michkov's not playing as well, or is there a little bit more to it as somebody that watches them game in and game out?
No, there's definitely a little bit more to it. It's been an interesting situation in year 2 for him. It's no secret that he came into camp a little out of shape, wasn't in the best form. The Flyers were open about that. He actually expressed accountability about that too, that he wasn't exactly happy with how he came into camp and the point production that he's had this season because of it. But Rick Tocchet's working with him. The coaching staff's working with him. But it definitely feels like a little bit of a sophomore slump here. And the Flyers have given him opportunities. Like they're not shying away from trying to sit him or anything. They don't want to do that. That was something John Tortorella had done a little bit with Matvei Michkov, was giving him a couple healthy scratches, cut his ice time. But the Flyers wanted to see more from him in terms of commitment level, wanting to play the full length of the rink. Sometimes when he doesn't score, his frustration takes over a little bit. He's so competitive. He's such an uber competitive guy that loves to score, that when he's not scoring, his game kind of dips overall. And the Flyers just have looked at him and wanted him to play the full length of the rink. And he's getting better. Like early in the season, his points really weren't there, and then his overall game dipped. Now he's scoring a little more consistently. He's a little more involved in games. I think they're trying to find him a consistent spot in terms of lineup and also minutes. So it's coming along a little bit, but it has not been the best sophomore season for Michkov. He was certainly more effective as a rookie, but I think they're starting to see his game come along, and Tocchet's working with him. But Tocchet's realized the microscope here on him. There's questions about him every single day, and Tocchet at times has gotten a little frustrated with it because the team's playing pretty well. The team's been pretty good under him in year 1, but a lot of times the focus is on Michkov. But as you guys know, in Edmonton, in a market like Philadelphia, the big name players tend to get the attention, good or bad. And I think Tocchet's realizing that a little bit.
Jordan, last one for you. The Flyers, I think, are certainly a surprise this season. When you look at how badly it had kind of gone last year, and they goaltending problems. Vladar has solved essentially all of those. Urson still serviceable as a backup, of course. But like, this is a team with its core group of players kind of in that mid to late 20s range. You talk about Zegras, Konechny, Tippett, Cates, Michkov on the younger side, of course, and Bobby Brink up front. We touched on some of the defensemen. What sort of direction do you see the Flyers taking for the rest of this season? And they're in a playoff spot, a divisional playoff spot, not even a wild card here today. But if they're right on the bubble, maybe flirting with a wild card spot, here come trade deadline time, could you see them being sellers again and continue to try to build a little bit more here for the future, both immediate and long term? Or what do you think?
So I do not anticipate them selling unless they are totally out of it.
Okay.
Now, in years past, I would have. They actually did it 2 years ago when they were in a playoff position in year one under John Tortorella. Or I'm sorry, in John Tortorella's second season as head coach. It was Briere's first full season as GM. And they were having a really surprising season, but they sold off Sean Walker, a defenseman, because they wanted to get a piece back for their rebuild in terms of a first-round pick. They're not in that position anymore. The president of hockey operations, Keith Jones, talked before the season and said they do not want to sell anymore. Like, they're about more adding and not so much about subtraction. So I think they're really happy with where they are right now. They didn't expect to be a bona fide contender this season, but they're at a spot where they want to start taking steps to get better and start building around what they have here and not so much subtracting and getting picks. They're still future oriented. They're going to think about the rebuild and not make decisions to hurt that, but they're certainly not going to be trying to subtract anymore unless they fall off a cliff and they're at the bottom of the standings. So I anticipate them, if they're in a playoff spot or they're around it, they might not go out and make a huge addition, but they're not going to go out and make a huge subtraction either. So they're starting to try to take steps. They don't want to be in putting up that for sale sign so much anymore like they have in years past.
Yeah, the nature of this Eastern Conference playoff race, it's going to make it tough for any team to really justify selling off in a big way at the deadline, because we were talking about the Sabres earlier this morning. I mean, goodness, winners of 10 in a row, they're in a playoff spot here on January 2nd, and they were a team that everybody seemed to be circling ready to pick clean the carcass of here approaching the deadline. So it should make for a great second half of the season, Jordan. Appreciate your time, as always. Happy New Year to you once again, and we look forward to catching up here as the season rolls on.
Thanks so much, guys. Happy New Year. Have a great one.
Jordan Hall, NBC Sports in Philadelphia, covers the Flyers, and they are who is in town for tomorrow's matinee game against the Oilers. That was our Puck Report, and it was brought to you by Fountain Tire. On this road together with Fountain Tire. When we come back, we'll read some text messages, 1-833-401-1440. We threw out the trivia question. Chance to win a $50 gift card to first round. Who is currently 7th on the NFL's all-time passing leaderboard? Was looking like maybe going to get passed by Phil Rivers this weekend, but the Colts going with Riley Leonard over the seasoned, savvy veteran, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who will serve in the backup role. That's the question. Text in your answer. We'll take all the correct ones, put them in the bowl, and pick ourselves a winner here before 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, Declan Kruger will join us, talk some college football after the great quarterfinals we saw the last few days. And then at 10:20, David Dwork joining us live from Lone Depot Park down in Miami ahead of today's Winter Classic between the Rangers and the Florida Panthers. We'll tee up that marquee event for the NHL. Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Femick all with you here on Sports 1440. It's the Kevin Karius Show. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
New Year's resolutions. We all make them. We all say we're going to start eating healthier or going to the gym or starting that new hobby. But at GS Construction, we actually follow through on our New Year's resolution because it's the same every year. We promise to set the groundwork, literally, for another year of progress and growth. And we've stuck by that resolution since 1974. So start that all-you-can-eat diet. GS Construction is going to start planning right now for the year ahead. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's not lost on me that this radio ad competes with a lot of other dealerships on the air. So what sets us apart? Honesty. At Northgate, we believe in giving you the very best price we can with the most value possible. We aren't giving away free trips or paying off your credit cards, but it is my promise you will get exactly what you paid for every time. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered. With half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West End and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Escape the cold and catch the hottest sports action at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Not a bad seat in the house. All the games and tons of big screens. Plus, Selly's menu has something for everyone, along with game night food and drink features. And this January, Oilers watch parties continue. So bring your friends and cheer loud and proud. Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Sports Bar and Lounge.
Happy New Year from Metal Supermarkets. They'd like to thank you for making them your place to shop for metal and for quick, efficient precision cutting and metal bending. If your resolutions for 2026 include a new project, commercial or residential, they're here to help. And speaking of resolutions, I've taken up pickleball.
11-0. I win.
Great. Now I can nap.
It's best of 3.
Not in my kitchen, kid. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperatures dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
I'm friends with the monster.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Coming up on 10 o'clock, welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show. Sports 1440, Brandon Douglas, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Fenwick all in studio this morning. Earlier this morning, the United States announced their Olympic roster. We chatted about that already, and some notable omissions being Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield up front, and Adam Fox. I think the most prominent names that were largely expected or in the mix, at least, to be on that team, not on it. But also the Finns and the Swedes revealed their full rosters as well today. And for the Oilers fans, the notable omission comes in the form of Mattias Ekholm, who is not on Team Sweden. I'll read out the whole rosters in a second. And when this came across, we had a couple texts about it too. I raised my question. I was like, wait a minute. What if he been on the team in 2014? And the answer is no, he was not. Now, that was a much younger Matthias Ekholm, right? He would have been just kind of cutting his teeth, I believe, in the NHL at that time, even if. But when you go back and read the Swedish roster from 2014, this was a silver medal winning team. And their D-core was Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Nick Jarmelson, Henrik Talinder, Alex Edler, Johnny Oduya, Jonathan Eriksson, Nick Kronwall, and Erik Karlsson. Pretty good group. Pretty good group. They won the silver medal, as I mentioned, to, of course, the Canadians. So the case of Ekholm, he would have been in his first full season. So, like I said, just cutting his teeth, played 62 games that season. For the Preds, going into that year, he'd only played 3 NHL games. So it makes sense that he wasn't over or listed in some of those other names that I just read out. But yeah, pretty disappointing, I would think. Like this at this point for Ekholm, who is 35 years old, all but certainly the last kick at the can for this chance. So you feel for him on a personal level. But I'm sure that he will be asked about this at morning skate today, tomorrow, whatever the case, as it leads up to their game against the Flyers. But I digress. The full Swedish roster on forward: Jesper Bratt, Leo Carlsson, Joel Eriksson Ek, Philip Forsberg, Pontus Holmberg, Adrian Kempe, Gabe Landeskog, Elias Lindholm, William Nylander, Elias Pettersson, Ricard Raquel, Lucas Raymond, Alex Wenberg, and Mika Zibanejad. On the back end, Rasmus Andersson, Philip Broberg, Jonas Brodin, Rasmus Dahlin, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Gus Forsling, Victor Hedman, and Erik Karlsson. And the goaltenders, the dynamic duo from Minnesota, Phil Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstedt, and then Jacob Markstrom. So some turnover there in the goaltender side of things. Sam Ersson not making the team this time around. Neither did Linus Ullmark, who is actually away from the Senators for some personal reasons right now as well. Anything there jump out at you, Donovan, of surprise?
Pontus Holmberg, that for sure jumped out as an area of surprise, but that is just simply call it lack of depth, call it lack of star power, whatever. I mean, these are teams, right, where you can look at Canada and US and say, wow, these are loaded for bear. These are all-stars at pretty much every position. But I mean, when you hear the name Pontus Holmberg in Olympic discussions, that's when you know, oh yeah, we're not dealing with Canada and the US. But like,
there's a really good defense group.
The defense is fantastic. I look at a team where, is that your bronze medal favorite? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. They're just not deep enough up front. There's not the star power, just not the same high end and middle ground.
So the rollover from Four Nations, Holmberg, Landeskog, who's off of injury, and Alex Wenberg are the additions. Victor Arvidsson and Gus Nyquist are the cuts, if you want to call them that. And, of course, bigger roster, so that's why there's more additions than there is subtractions. And then on the defense, Broberg and OEL in, Matthias Ekholm out, and in net, like I said, Jesper Wallstedt replacing Linus Ullmark. And Ersson was originally named last year, but due to injury was replaced, I think, by Gustafsson, if my memory serves me correctly. But neither here nor there. For the Finns, Finland was so injured going into the Four Nations face-off that's why they seem to be dipping into the non-NHL pool or fringe NHL pool, if you will, at that tournament. And they were clearly the fourth best team. But this time around, just one non-NHLer on the roster. So Sebastian Aho, Joel Armia, Mikael Granlund, Erik Haula, Rupe Hintz, Kaapo Kakko, Oliver Kapanen, Joel Kiviranta, Arturi Lehkonen, Anton Lundell, Eetu Listerainen, Mikko Rantanen, Teuvo Teravainen, and Eli Tolvanen. At the forward group on D, Heiskanen, Henri Jokiharju, Mikko Lehtinen, that's the only non-NHL player, Esa Lundell, Oli Mata, Nicholas Montepallo, who was one of the late additions, if my memory serves correct, to the Finnish team last year, Nico Mikkola, and Rasmus Ristolainen, fresh off of that long injury that we just talked about with Jordan Hall. Didn't play for 9 months as he kind of recovered from that tricep injury. And then in goal, another strong group here for the Finns, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, Kevin Lankinen, and Jussi Saros. Changes here. Obviously, they're going to be without Barkov, which is a tough break for them. Arguably would be their best or second best player on the forward group, along the likes of Aho and Rantanen. But and then Kiviranta, Kapanen, and Tolvanen are all added to the team. And then Mikko Lehtinen, who does have some NHL experience with the Leafs and Jackets, he's added to the team as well. Top of the hour, Declan Kruger is going to join us to talk some college football. 4 quarterfinal bowl games here in the past couple days, going back to New Year's Eve. Some surprising results. Very surprising. And then how about Indiana? Man, they didn't just beat Alabama. They whomped them. They mollywopped them, as Eddie would have said if he were still here in studio with us. So we'll talk about all that and look ahead to the semifinals. Maybe even talk a little basketball with Declan and Elks, as he is a co-host of Elks Nation once he joins us here at the top of the hour. 10:20, David Dwork will be with us from down in South Florida ahead of today's Winter Classic between the Rangers and the Panthers. Now, the trivia question today for first round and a chance at a $50 gift card was, what quarterback was set to get passed by Phillip Rivers if he were playing this Sunday and threw, I think it was 120 yards? 105. Thank you, Josh. But Phillip Rivers not playing, so this is not going to happen. So who is the 7th all-time passing leader in NFL history? Lots of correct answers, including RBS, our in-house Steelers fan, who chimed in and said, can't wait to chat with y'all on Monday when the Steelers are sitting pretty in a playoff spot. Have a good weekend, boys. RBS, wouldn't surprise me one bit. Like, the Steelers should win this game, or the Ravens, should win this game probably 9 times out of 10. So you're saying there's a chance. The correct answer is Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben, who had voiced some concerns earlier this year about, he said he thinks the Steelers should move on from Mike Tomlin. Now he then kind of walked those back a little bit, but still put it out there. That's a guy that won a Super Bowl with Roethlisberger as the quarterback. So it's should make for a great Sunday night football game. The 2 games on Saturday also with implications. Niners and Seahawks for the number 1 seed and the division in the NFC West. And then, of course, Panthers and Buccaneers earlier Saturday for the NFC South, maybe. Bucs win. They need a little help. Panthers win. They are in. Our winner, Donovan, was Walter.
Yes.
That's what the wheel told us.
The wheel told us it's Walter.
Big Ben Roethlisberger is what Walter texted in. Walter, I'll send you a text here to get your information, and we'll get you set up with that first round gift card for $50. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update, and it is brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and even South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is Donovan Paulson.
The Sports 1440 update.
I need it.
Four games on your NHL slate today. You've got the Winter Classic, of course, between the Panthers and the Rangers. The Blues and Golden Knights, they get underway at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The Wild, they're in Anaheim to take on the Ducks, and the Canucks, they host the Kraken. Olympic roster news, Matthias Ekholm, he has failed to make Team Sweden. The Americans are holding off Jason Robertson and Adam Fox from their roster. And a couple Oilers call-ups. You've got Quinn Hudson and Ike Howard returning back to Edmonton for another round trip on the Oilers. Some college football playoffs. The Liberty Bowl between Navy and Cincinnati gets underway at 2:30. It is Rice and Texas State in the Armed Forces Bowl at 11 this morning. Wake Forest and Mississippi State take on each other in the Mayo Bowl, and the Holiday Bowl, SMU versus Arizona. Coming up, we've got Declan Kruger right after the break. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing.
Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic oath to do no harm and act in the best interest of all pipes, whether PVC, copper, or otherwise.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter.
Jason Greger isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over 2 million raised for local charities and his Greger Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Greger weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, with showcase style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018. Visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
When it snows and you have a Honda, let it blow, let it blow, let it blow. Ditch the driveway shovel because right now at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo, save up to $400 on Honda dual-stage snowblowers. Take whatever winter throws at you and throw it back with iconic Honda reliability. Available for a limited time only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert and always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Ten o'clock in Edmonton. Welcome back into the Kevin Karius Show. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning, joined by Josh Fenwick and Donovan Paulson here from the Stingray Studios in West Edmonton Mall. And getting you ready for a full weekend of action. Oilers back at it tomorrow afternoon when they host the Flyers for a 1:30 puck drop matinee affair. Team Canada World Juniors quarterfinal. They will play Slovakia this evening. And the past couple days, we've been treated to some excellent action as well. Oilers, Team Canada, New Year's Eve. That's where we saw our first college football quarterfinal bowl game. 3 more yesterday, the triple header. And they were dandies. We're going to chat about them here with our very own Declan Kruger. You can hear him on the Lowdown with Low Tide from noon to 2, the Jason Greger Show from 2 to 6, and then off our airwaves, Elks Nation, co-hosting there with Eddie Steele, 2 weekly podcasts, articles, and more, all online at elksnation.ca. Declan, welcome in. Thanks for making some time with us. This is supposed to be your morning off. You guys aren't doing an Elks Nation show today, but you graciously offer us a few minutes of your time. Thanks, man.
No, yeah, happy to be here as always, man. This is excellent. Love doing it. Yeah, no Elks Nation today. The boys are taking the Friday off to ring in the new year. But I was happy when I got the call. When you sent me the text and said, "Hey, you want to hop on?" I was looking forward to it. You know, watched all the games. It's a lot better doing this than it is just kind of answering questions in my own head. So
yeah, exactly. Let me ask you those questions that you would be answering in your head, Declan.
The problem is I give myself softballs. You know, you got the 110 mile an hour splitter coming at me, and I don't know how to hit it. So.
Yeah, nothing but straight heat when I'm on the bump. So let me start you off with this one then. Of the 4 results, and I'm going to phrase them to you in specific ways, which was the most surprising? Now, starting with Miami over Ohio, just the fact that Miami won. Then to your Oregon Ducks beating Texas Tech in the fashion that they did. Indiana, the measure by which they beat Alabama. And then last night, Ole Miss upsetting the Georgia Bulldogs. Just the second game as the interim head coach there, replacing Lane Kiffin as a 6th seed. Which of those results was the most surprising for you?
I still think it's Miami just winning. Like, Miami wasn't really supposed to have a formula to beat Ohio State. Like, when Miami beat Notre Dame and beat USF earlier this year, they won the line of scrimmage in those games. And, like, USF isn't Notre Dame. And Notre Dame this year, respectfully, from what we thought, wasn't Ohio State. But then as Miami kind of kept going throughout the season, they started to play with a lot more flash, and they kind of started to play like those 0-1 Hurricanes teams where they were just going to try and light you up and be more fun than you. And it obviously hurt them against Louisville, and it hurt them against SMU. And even as they corrected themselves, down near the end of the season against like Pitt and against NC State and against Stanford, they were still just like a flashy team. And then they played that Texas A&M game. And like, if you want to say they won the battle of the line of scrimmage in that Texas A&M game, sure, I guess they did. But that game wasn't exactly won and lost at the line of scrimmage. Like, everyone was missing kicks, and it was just a defensive struggle, and neither offense had any motion. Like, it was a 10-3 final score. So you kind of go into the Ohio State game thinking, like, what is Miami's recipe to victory here? Like, do they have one? Like, Ohio State's so strong defensively on both sides with the front seven and with the offensive line. They're so good down the middle with Arvell Reese and with Sonny Styles and with Caleb Downs. Like, how does Miami counteract this? And they just went out there and they just won the battle of the line of scrimmage like they had in those Notre Dame games and in that USF game when they put up 49 points. Like, I didn't think Miami really had a path to victory in that game, quite bluntly. And they did it in kind of the most shocking way. Like, Ohio State also has this thing. They had games this year where they would just kind of lull you and they would just kind of cakewalk. Then they'd be like, you know what? This one's 13-0 in the third quarter. Like, let's hit the Jeremiah Smith button. And then they would just go 3 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown to Jeremiah Smith. And everyone would just be like, yeah, they have that ability. They can do that. Like, they hit that button against Miami. Like, they were working Jeremiah Smith in to great success, and they still couldn't, they couldn't finish drives. They couldn't get into the end zone. Obviously that bubble screen getting picked was one, but yeah, I mean, for me, like, Miami winning was shocking. Like, I didn't have Miami in the playoff. I had them in over Notre Dame. I didn't have them as a playoff team. And Ohio State was a team I think a lot of people thought were going to go back to back. Like, I know they lost to Indiana, but it was a team that I think a lot of people thought were just going to right the ship, maybe meet Indiana in a rematch and kind of correct themselves now that they had some tape on them, not to be. And all the credit to Miami. So that was definitely the one I was most surprised by.
Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Lowtide and Elks Nation with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440, breaking down the quarterfinal matches from the college football playoff the past couple days. So let's talk about Indiana, Declan. And listen, they were the number 1 seed in the country, an unbelievable year. But I still think, and I'll put myself in this camp, they come into a game against Alabama where you look at the history of the Alabama culture and the program, right? Indiana, this turnaround has been in 2 seasons. Is it a little bit of like, yeah, they're good, but they still got some lessons to learn before they can play with the likes of the Crimson Tide, the Bulldogs, and even to an extent, Ohio State, right? But they came out here and just absolutely clinically tore Alabama apart. Like, could not get anything going offensively, could the Crimson Tide, and they essentially could not stop Fernando Mendoza all afternoon long. Take us inside this game a little bit and what you saw.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was this turnaround, man. Someone said this, like some random account said this on Twitter, that they think it's the best coaching job they've ever seen. And like, we're obviously quite young. Like, I'm only, we don't know my age. It's anywhere from 26 to 29, but
right
south side of 30. And like, I feel like I've never seen a coaching performance like this. Like, I was trying to think of an apt comparison in the NHL, and the reality is there isn't one. Because college is so different, right? Yeah. Like the allocation of resources and the history and the program tradition. And like in the NHL, if you're a head coach, you're an NHL head coach. Like in college football, if you're the coach at Indiana, guess what? You do well, Ohio State's calling, Michigan's calling, Georgia, whatever it is. So the fact Curt Cignetti has done this is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. As far as the actual game, like, Indiana all season long just beat up their opponent. And the question kind of was, are they going to be able to do it? Really, I think the question was answered against Ohio State because they beat them up physically too. But the question kind of had been, could they do it against an elite team? And then when they did it against Ohio State, like going into this matchup, I texted my friends. I'd said, like, guys, Bama's down 31-3 against Indiana. Imagine telling someone that 2 years ago. And my friend came back and said, the crazier part is that it's the expected result. And it was the expected result because Indiana had such – like I talked about the front seven with Miami. What Indiana does on their offensive line, like they just pound you. And on what they do on the defensive line, and they're missing their starting nose tackle, and they just pound you. Like Alabama had 23 rushing yards in that one, I think. And it was kind of a good performance rushing for them. Like they haven't been able to run the ball at all. It was such a – all Indiana does is bully you. Like they just bully you and bully you and bully you. Like they've done it to every single team they've played. They did it to Oregon in Autzen Stadium. They did it to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. They did it to Penn State. I know Penn State didn't have the best season, but it's still a really talented roster. Like they did it to Illinois when Illinois was number 9 in the country, and they beat them 63-10, man. Like they just bully you. All they do is beat you up, and it's so impressive what they're able to do. And Alabama had a lot of problems this year, but for all the problems Alabama had, they beat a good Vandy team. They did beat Georgia on the road. They won a college football playoff game. And then they went out there and they didn't look like they belonged remotely on the same field against Indiana. Like the turnaround that program has been incredible. Fernando Mendoza, he didn't have to be Heisman Mendoza. Like really, his final stat line wasn't overly impressive.
Under 200 yards, 3 scores, sure. But I mean, like you said, it was like systemic the way that Indiana just dismantled Alabama with the use of their offensive line, the run game more than anything. But
and like Alabama's lack of ability to run the ball was always going to hurt them. And Indiana just like when you can run the ball like that and your opponent can't run the ball, the time of possession numbers are always going to be so skewed. It was in this game. And it was just such like I was watching this game with a friend of mine and I was so happy for Indiana. Like I was so giddy just to see what they've done. Then my friend kind of tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, hey man, like Oregon plays them next. And I kind of went like, oh yeah, you're right. Like maybe I should chill out a little bit here because I don't know what that game's going to look like, but yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Indiana, man.
So just before we jump to the other games here, Deck, you said it. Mendoza did not have to be the Heisman winning quarterback we saw all season long in this game for the Hoosiers to win, even in the fashion they did. But where do you stand on him? You've seen a lot of different quarterbacks at the college level roll through and how they play out as NFL prospects. Like it's trending towards this guy's going to be potentially the first overall pick in this upcoming draft. Now, is this a case where it's warranted, or is it just going to be another matter of, hey, there's enough teams that need quarterbacks, no better place to pick them than right at the top?
Yeah, I mean, I probably think he's warranted of being the first quarterback taken and maybe the first overall pick. Like, I do think he's going to be a good pro quarterback. He's got good size. He understands the game very well. Like, in college, a lot of times, Jackson Dart had this, just to use kind of a recent example. Like, Jackson Dart was a guy who would really kind of force things in college because he felt like probably to a degree like he needed to, but probably to a degree like he was like, hey, like I'm going to the NFL after this. I can force things. You know what I mean? Like I almost called him Heisman Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza really lets the game kind of come to him. Like he doesn't, if he has, a stat line where he passes, 10 times for 160 yards and no touchdowns, but they have 300 yards on the ground. Like he is more than happy to kind of adapt how he has to play his offense that way. And I just think having that IQ for the game is something that's going to take him places. He's got good size. I don't think he's going to be, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes or one of the premier guys in the NFL. But I definitely think he's going to be a guy who can stick around for a while, have a good career, be a good average quarterback. Like, is he getting drafted by Vegas next year and he's turning them into a 14-win team? Probably not. But is he going to be, even a couple of years into his career better than a third or a quarter or half the options in the NFL? I think he probably will be. And I think a big part of that is his game IQ.
Declan Kruger from the Lowdown with Low Tide on Elks Nation with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. Now to your team, the Oregon Ducks. They win over Texas Tech 23-0. Now, I liked Oregon in this game, but once again, it's kind of the way and the fashion in which they win. Texas Tech's calling card all year was the strength of their defense, and they hold Oregon to 23 points But the flip side of that is that they do not score a single point in the football game. So how impressed were you with Oregon's defense and the way that they just completely snuffed out Texas Tech's attack?
Yeah, and like Texas Tech, they kind of held them to 16. Like it was a touchdown with like 20 seconds. Yeah, I felt kind of bad for Texas Tech. Like Texas Tech was an easy team to root for this year, which sounds crazy when they had a billionaire former player just spend $30 million on a roster. It's like, who wants to cheer for that? But they were kind of easy to cheer for because they were just like the forgotten good team of college. Like no one really gave them, and maybe this is why, right? Like they obviously go out there, they don't score a single point in the college football playoff. Oregon's defense, yeah, like the thing with Texas Tech is how I kind of described it is, were they going to be the team that passed the eye test all year and they were going to go out there and just be like, whoa, like this is the team we thought they were? Or was it going to be a game where they go out and they meet a bunch of 5-star recruits and a bunch of 4-star recruits on every level of the defense and the rubber meets the road? And it turns out it was the latter. Like Oregon's offense didn't move. Like they didn't play that well offensively. They didn't convert anything on third down, really. Like I said, they were held to, a bunch of field goal tries after they had decently sustained drives. But to answer your question, yeah, the defense was so stout. And Texas Tech, like they've put up some big numbers in games, but it's 99% of the time been the result of defense flipping field position. And it's been a result of defense, getting out of there quickly. And it's been a result of opposing offenses not getting anything sustained. And Texas Tech's offense just having short fields to work with. And obviously, respectfully, some overmatched defenses. So the fact Oregon was I didn't think Texas Tech was going to be able to, light it up offensively. I didn't really think Oregon was either. I thought Texas Tech would get a little bit more. Like I thought they'd get a little something, at least get some points on the board. But it just became very evident early on. They didn't have an offensive identity. Like throughout their season, they didn't really have an offensive identity because they didn't really have to. Like even when they scored, they were kind of scoring every which way. And this one was just like when things got tough for them against this Oregon defense, they just had no idea what to do. Like they didn't have a go-to guy like Ohio State. I know they lost, but they have like Jeremiah Smith they can go to. Indiana, they have a Heisman winning quarterback. Oregon has Kenyon Sadiq they can just check it down to. Like Texas Tech didn't have that guy. They don't have anyone in the offense like that, and it really showed. So I kind of felt bad that they went out as sad as they did. But yeah, like the Oregon defense was stood on their hand. What is it? Stood 10 toes down.
Sure.
Stood on their hands and feet. Whatever.
Let's
make up a quote Friday.
They stood on their business.
Stood on business. Yeah.
And then lastly, the Sugar Bowl last night. They saved the best for last. This was as entertaining of a football game as you can watch at any level. 39-34. The Rebels upset the Georgia Bulldogs. Trinidad Chambliss was a spectacle in this game for all the positives and that kind of wow factor that leaves you questioning his decision making at times. But this one had to surprise you a little bit as well in terms of the final result.
For sure. And Utah, like shout out the big dogs showing up for Ole Miss. Harrison Wallace, Trinidad Chambliss, Quan Lacey. Like Trinidad Chambliss, you talk about him. He had to play. I think it was either late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, where I think they have it at about their own 25. Pressure comes. I think it's the Sam off the edge. He has to roll back to like his own 5-yard line. Like he's kind of doing his own ballerina moves. And then he finally breaks contain and he gets a little flip pass out. Like I kind of forget the question already. Was it just like how impressed you were with Ole Miss?
Well, how did they do this? Because Ole Miss, the most of headlines around this team was about Lane Kiffin leaving before they were about to play in the college football playoff. And now Lane Kiffin's at LSU basketball games, getting introduced to the crowd, still cashing checks for every game this team wins here in the playoffs. Another, I think it was 500
by the way,
for last night's win. But the Rebels, like, it's almost like that's galvanized this team here heading into the playoffs. They beat Tulane running away, to be expected, but we weren't expecting this type of performance against a Georgia Bulldogs team that was 3 in the country.
Yes. Yeah. Like it was the big dogs showing up for them. Like those 3 great players I talked about in Trinidad Chambliss's performance. I also think they called a great game offensively. Like Georgia was a team who kind of, this is going to sound very like cliche and like, oh, duh. Yeah, of course. But Georgia didn't really adapt well when things didn't go according to plan. And again, like I know that kind of sounds Captain Obvious there, but like Georgia has a very kind of set way they like to play, and they're kind of used to playing a very standard way and being able to do they're used to being able to do certain things that they weren't able to do in this Ole Miss game. Like Ole Miss really opened up the playbook, and Georgia kind of was like, whoa, hold on, this isn't halfback dives and this isn't 5-yard outs to the wide outs. Like, what are we? This is a little bit different. And anytime someone opened up the playbook against them, like Alabama did it and they won the game, they just had other games this season where it kind of led them to struggling a little bit. And Ole Miss was able to do that to great success. Like they were able to isolate their big time players. They were able to run the ball really, really well. Defensively, like they didn't, have to do much because you just had such faith that once the offense got back out there, they were going to be able to do something. It was a really, really impressive performance. Like Ole Miss, listen, they only lost one game this year to Georgia on the road, and they were winning that game by 15 points in the fourth quarter. Like I know Ole Miss had some hiccups this year, and they didn't look great in the Washington State game. They didn't look great against Mississippi State, but like they, at the end of the day, it was like, man, they lost one game to Georgia. And they were leading that game by 15 in the fourth quarter. Like maybe this, because the thing I had always said about Ole Miss is like, this is a really impressive season. They're very good, but they're just not good enough. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you're just not good enough. And Ole Miss in this game maybe kind of showed to us that that's not the case. And they actually are good enough. Now, if they're good enough in unconventional ways, that's one thing. And that's, very cool. And how sustainable is that? There are 2 games left max. So it doesn't exactly have to be sustainable, but it was just it was Trinidad. It was a really creative game called offensively, I think. And when I say creative, I don't mean like you're running jet sweep reverses where the wide receiver is the one passing the ball. I don't mean you're running triple options. I just mean like things that aren't conventional to your offensive system. Like if you have an air raid attack, all of a sudden things are coming short. Or if you run like a West Coast offense, all of a sudden things are going up the middle. Like that's creative play calling. And I thought that's what Ole Miss was able to do. So yeah, I'm really excited for the game versus Miami. Didn't pick either team to be there at all. Can't wait to watch it. Don't know who wins.
Yeah, it should be great. It's going to be Ole Miss and Miami in the Fiesta Bowl on January the 8th. And then on the 9th, Oregon playing Indiana down in Georgia at the Superdome for the Peach Bowl. Can't wait to hear you talk about it, I'm sure, today on the Lowdown and all next week, getting ready for it. Deck, thanks for hopping on this morning. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for asking me. I always love doing these hits, man. Thank you so much for asking me. Have a great rest of the show. Really quickly, did it sound like I knew ball?
You took the words right out of my mouth on your outro. I was going to say, there you have it. Declan Kruger, certified ball knower. Hear him every day here on the Lowdown with Low Tide, noon to 2, and on elksnation.ca for their 2 weekly podcast. Declan Kruger, the man, the myth, the legend. When we come back, David Dwork, Hockey News, covers the Florida Panthers, is going to hop on with us. He's down at Lone Depot Park for today's Winter Classic. We'll talk about that game, conditions, how's it all shaping up, and also the Panthers themselves here heading into the second half of the season and where they're at as back-to-back defending Stanley Cup champions. He'll be with us right when we return. It's the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas, Declan Kruger, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Fenwick all with us in studio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's not lost on me that this radio ad competes with a lot of other dealerships on the air. So what sets us apart? Honesty. At Northgate, we believe in giving you the very best price we can with the most value possible. We aren't giving away free trips or paying off your credit cards, but it is my promise you will get exactly what you paid for every time. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the move, you're never more than a tap away from Sports 1440. Download the radio player or iHeart app today so you can get all access anytime to Edmonton's only sports radio station, Sports 1440.
New year, new career. Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson, and we're looking for great people to join our team in 2026. If you're interested in heating and air conditioning trade, we should talk. We offer year-round employment, school reimbursement, excellent benefits, and you'll be learning from one of the best HVAC companies around. Furnace, AC, and garage heater installations and service, you'll do it all. A rewarding career with Weiss Johnson. For details, visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Brandon Douglas sitting in for Kevin this morning. We got Josh Fenwick. We got Donovan Paulson keeping things on track on the board and on our online streams where you can watch on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, even Twitch if you're so inclined. Listening options plentiful there as well. Stream it on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and on the terrestrial, old-fashioned AM dials on 1440, sports1440.ca. Our final guest of the segment, we're going to head down to South Beach for our game of the day, and it's brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. The brand new Jeep Renegades, the Jeep Gladiator sport packages have arrived. Great selection, many colors to pick from. $49.9 get you behind the wheel. Brand new Jeep Gladiators below $50K. It's almost unfathomable, but it's true at stalbertdodge.com. We welcome in David Dwork from the Hockey News, covers the Florida Panthers. David, good morning, good afternoon in your case. Happy New Year to you, and thanks for taking some time with us on what I'm sure is a very busy day down at Lone Depot Ballpark.
Happy New Year to you as well. Thanks again for having me on. It's crazy what I'm looking at. I'm sitting in the press box right now looking out at the ice for the Winter Classic at the Miami Marlins baseball stadium, and it's still like kind of sinking in a little bit what's happening down here. It's pretty cool.
It really is. And let's start with, like I said, looking out at the ice. We've talked about it with Frank Saravalli on the show the past couple weeks about, the preparation for this event, to undertake something. They've done games in California at Lake Tahoe, but this does seem a little bit different to head all the way to South Beach to do an NHL outdoor game. Now, they brought in the extra refrigeration truck. They're making the ice thicker. The players were on it yesterday. How are things looking ice condition-wise here ahead of tonight's puck drop?
The ice is pretty awesome, actually. Before the players got to, me and some of my media buddies got to skate on the ice 2 days ago. And let me tell you, it was crisp. It was sharp. It felt really clean. It was amazing how clear it was. You don't usually see ice that clear. Maybe it's just because I've been playing beer league for so long that the ice is always terrible. But no, I thought the ice was great. It had some good bite to it. The grip was fine. The players all seemed to be pretty happy with it yesterday. I think even though you think outdoor game, you think Miami, but they've had this building pretty tightly packed for the last couple of weeks. They think they started building the ice the day before or 2 days before Christmas, right around then. Wow. And they've kept it pretty chilly in the building since then, other than one test that they did a few days ago just to see how quickly the temperature would drop in here. And it really didn't. I think I was told the roof was open for 20 minutes before the temperature around the ice level started to change. And that was during the day. This is going to be at night, and it's supposed to be, I think, down in the 60s or 50s tonight, which is really nice for South Florida. So they're getting everything, I think, as best they could have hoped for with the ice here. But no, I don't think the conditions are going to be an issue at all. It seems really good.
And then, David, what about the rest of the facility? I mean, we see it on TV when we're watching the odd time the Blue Jays make a trip down to play the Marlins or whatever the case. But like for the fan experience, how is that shaping up at Lone Depot Park for tonight's game?
They're going to have tons for the fans to do. That's why we got here so early, my colleagues and I, because we did a little tour of like they have a fan activation area set up outside with games and like giveaways, picture opportunities. Like the Stanley Cup's going to be there. Like Gretzky, Lundqvist, former Panthers, Ed Jovanovski is going to be there. There's going to be just a ton of stuff for the fans to do, and that's before you even get in the building. So that's really neat how they have that set up outside. And then inside, it's just you got food, you got drinks. It's kind of a festive party atmosphere right now. They got the lights off and they got the neons going. The color schemes are really cool because it's kind of like a vintage feel with the fonts combined with the South Florida vibe. So overall, coming into it, honestly, I was like a little skeptical because the Winter Classic, like I went to a Winter Classic at Wrigley Field and that felt like what it should. I was freezing my ass off the whole time and it was awesome hockey. So I was a little skeptical coming into this one, wondering how they were going to do it, how they were going to make it feel like a hockey, like Winter Classic. But so far, I've been pretty pleasantly surprised. It's really cool what the league has done so far.
And to pony off that, as David Dwork guest with us from the Hockey News, covers the Florida Panthers down on South Beach, the feeling, right? They've been doing these outdoor games for so long now, and the Winter Classic is still the marquee one every year, at least in my opinion. There's, some discussion that maybe it's getting a little played out, a little tired, but where do you land on it, David, that they're still going to new places, trying it, pushing the limits of what they're capable of? Are you in favor of them continuing to try and roll this out in new cities, new arenas, stadiums, ballparks, whatever you want to call it? Or maybe are you of the opinion that it's run its course and it's time to maybe shift attention elsewhere?
No, I think that it's a cool opportunity for them, especially with the technology they have now, as we're seeing this year, particularly that they can kind of build ice in any situation, in any building. I think doing it once or twice a year, obviously if you do it much more than that, it could get stale. But no, I think it's cool. I think as long as they continue to mix it up, you go back to some of your more traditional spots where it's freezing out and you really get that pond hockey feel, which I think is what they were going for from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then you do it in places like this where you would, 10 years ago, you would have been like, there's no way they're going to have an outdoor hockey game in Miami or Los Angeles. I think the LA one was 10 years ago. But just those non-traditional things, I think that's part of what keeps it fresh. So no, I don't think it's gotten played out yet. I think it's pretty cool. And I hope that they continue to do it in places where fans like the ones here in South Florida who maybe never thought they'd be able to experience something like this without getting on a plane and traveling across the country. So I think if they continue to do it in situations like that, reaching out to places that they wouldn't necessarily have been able to do it a few years back, I like that. I think it's a pretty cool thing.
And so, David, one last one for you on the Classic itself before we turn our attention to the Panthers and their team, where they're at in this season. You're a goalie guy. I am too. One of my favorite parts about marquee games like this for alternate uniforms, jerseys, is seeing what the goalies roll out for their equipment. And I think both teams' tandems between Quick, Shesterkin, Tarasov, and Bobrovsky really brought their A game with some of the gear. I assume you've got a chance to check out some of that stuff as well.
Oh, I love it. And I love how it's like different on the two teams.
Yeah.
Like the Panthers goalies, they went with more of like the old time, like leather look on their gear. So there's no real color schemes or anything. And then I think Bob's got like this old, like with like his helmet's painted with like kind of like the old Vancouver lines almost. Like it's a very, very classic look. And then the Rangers, they've got like more of the 90s goaltender pad look. I think one of them, I can't remember which one it was, whether it's Shesterkin or Quick, but one of them's got pads that reminded me a lot of Mike Richter's gear from the 90s, which I think is awesome. Like that's the kind of throwback that I want, because that's the goalie era that I grew up in. It's just when like the pads and everything was really starting to pop with colors and the originality. So I love that they're doing that. I love that the goalies have the opportunity now with the way the gear is built, that it comes out of the box and it's ready to use. So you don't really have to work too long to break it in. But that's one of the things that I guess you and I are both kind of geeking out over, just because it's so cool when you get to see the goalies have a little bit of originality and they get to show their personalities a little bit with the kind of gear that they want to wear. So I absolutely love that. The only thing I'm going to be missing today is I don't think we're going to have the goalies wearing toques on the ice. Probably not necessary for this one.
Probably not. Yeah, not giving shades of the original Heritage Classic here in Edmonton when Theodore had the toque on top of the mask. That's a great throwback reference there. And I think Tarasovs are probably my favorite. The leather, like the vintage Vaughn stitching with a little patch up on the top of the thigh too. Really, really cool. looking forward to seeing them in action, whichever of the goalies does play later on tonight. David Dork from the Hockey News with us here on the Kevin Karius Show. David covering the Florida Panthers. So this team, David, Matthew Tkachuk inching closer, but not going to play today, making his debut at the Winter Classic, but his return otherwise seems pretty imminent.
Yeah, everything's progressing with Matthew Tkachuk. He's been on the ice now for a while. He's been itching to get back out there. There was some thought that maybe he'd be back for this game, but I don't think the gravitas of it is impacting any of their decision making. As we've seen, over the past few seasons, the Panthers don't ever feel that they need to rush anybody back to the lineup. They're comfortable with the team, and the team's been playing fairly decently over the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really nice run in December where they run 7 of 8. Now they've alternated wins and losses over their past 6. But I think overall, between where they feel the team is at, just learning and getting acclimated to Paul Maurice's systems for a new season with several new players on the roster, combined with getting guys back in the lineup. You mentioned Tkachuk. They just got Eetu Luostarinen back a couple weeks ago, and that was big. Barkov, Nosek, those guys were on the ice. They're progressing along in their recoveries. Their Panthers are hoping to get Jonah Gadovich and Dmitry Kulikov back right around after the Olympic break, maybe within a few weeks of that. So this is a team that's getting healthier. They're keeping their head above water in terms of the playoff race, and I think that's really the name of the game for them. As long as they can kind of stay right within striking distance and they continue to get healthier, as we saw, 3 years ago now when Florida squeaked into the playoffs as an 8 seed and then went to the final against Vegas. As long as they get in, they don't care if they start at home. I don't care if they start on the road. They just want to be there, and they feel that they can be confident in their abilities once they get there. So that's really the name of the game for the Cats right now.
And like the names you just rattled off, that the injuries that have hampered this team, like I do think it is exceptionally impressive that they're coming in here at the halfway point, telling a 21-15-3 record. So how have they done it? Like who have been the names that have really stepped up in the absences of the big name players, particularly Barkov and Tkachuk, of course, up front that have really stood out to you?
I mean, the 2 big names that really carried the team offensively for a big part of the first half of the season was Brad Marchand and Sam Reinhart, which, who you would expect. With Brad Marchand, it's been unbelievable what this guy is. Maybe not unbelievable now that he's fully healthy, because I know he was injured a little bit towards the end in Boston. But it's like turning back the clock is not enough in terms of just a phrase to use to talk about what Brad Marchand has done. But between him and Rhino, those are the guys that you maybe expect. And then it's the 2 Finns really that jump out for me, and that's Anton Lundell and Eetu Luostarinen. Both young guys that have been slowly but surely building their game up over the past few seasons, but to see them really starting to turn a corner in their offensive game. And with Lundell, he's just been filling in with Barkov so amazingly, whether it's face-offs, power play, penalty kill. He's really taking his baby Barky nickname and taking it to another level this year. So those guys, and then you also, you talk about a guy like AJ Greer, who's had a series, trending towards career high numbers in scoring, playing in the middle 6, where he's been really a 4th line guy for much of his career. It's really been cool. And then also Seth Jones, who just made the Team USA roster, just watching him gradually get better and better and more comfortable playing in Paul Maurice's systems. Sylvain Lefebvre works very close with him and the Panthers defenseman, and just seeing how he's progressed since he's been here last year to this point. It's been really cool to watch. So it hasn't been 1 or 2 guys. It's been a collective effort. But at the end of the day, I just have to continue to give credit to Bill Zito and his staff for building this incredibly deep roster that's been able to maintain despite all those key guys being out.
Talking Florida Panthers with David Dork with the Hockey News, covers the team down in Florida. So you mentioned Seth Jones very deservedly getting the nod to Team USA officially earlier on this morning. But back on Wednesday, one of the surprise omissions from Team Canada's list was Sam Bennett. This is a guy that is off of a Conn Smythe trophy-winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championship. Played a big role for this team at the Four Nations face-off back in February. How surprised were you and maybe the others in and around the Panthers team to not see his name trotted out on the team's announcement on Wednesday?
Yeah, a little bit surprised, for a lot of the reasons that you just named off. He's been such a crucial player to the Panthers and a great playoff performer. My first thought when I saw that he wasn't included was I guess that's the direction that Team Canada is going with the roster that they're trying to build. Maybe they felt they had enough of the quote-unquote thumpers, and they wanted to maybe add a little bit more skill in that department, although Sam Bennett certainly has a ton of skill. But that was just my first thought was, okay, I guess they don't want to go it's not going to be like Four Nations, right? We're not going to have the same kind of physicality, obviously, no fighting because of the Olympics and all that. And so maybe they're taking that into account as well, because obviously what we saw in Four Nations, I think, I don't want to say we, but for me at least, that's what I would love to see at the Olympics. Like, that was some of the most amazing hockey that I've seen in my adult life. Yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising. I think Team Canada has no shortage of talent on their roster, and I don't mean to interrupt myself, but I just saw the Stanley Cup walk out into onto the little level down there, and so tipping my cap to Lord Stanley, a little respect there. But yeah, just a little bit surprising, but again, just they have such an abundance of skill to choose from, particularly the Canadians, perhaps more than any of the other nations. But it's also, the second thought I had, and, knock on wood when I say this, but we still have about 5-6 weeks between now and the Olympics. Right. So for the rosters to be exactly the same then as they are right now, while you hope that happens, because that would mean nobody gets hurt, that's not the reality of the situation. So, we'll see how it plays out. But I think obviously Sam would be a little bit disappointed that he's not going to be there in the Olympics, but he does have his name on the Stanley Cup twice. He's got the Conn Smythe. So, pros and cons, right? Glass half full.
No, and I think you're spot on. We talked about it a little bit earlier when the American roster was officially announced. Like you said, nobody's rooting for an injury, of course, but the reality is, with you're talking 25 players, the chances of all 25 being in the same state in 6 weeks from now is surprisingly, unfortunately, low. Last one for you, David. I'm going to steer away from hockey for this one. All eyes are on the Winter Classic today for sure, but just a couple nights ago, the Hurricanes upsetting the Ohio State to advance through the semifinals of the college football playoff. I have to think that there's still a huge buzz down around South Florida with this happening, and the chance now to advance and play a national championship on home soil at Miami Gardens later this month. I have to think the southern part of the state there is just a buzz.
Oh, as you were kind of framing your question, I could feel this smile just growing on my face. It's amazing. I'm still a little bit in thrilled shock over the awesome victory over Ohio State a couple nights ago. Some nice revenge from 2003. But yeah, I mean, this is a football town. I'll take that to the grave. As much as they get behind like the Miami Heat when they're doing good, and the Heat are good a lot of the times. And now with the Panthers being as successful as they have been over the past few seasons, certainly the building is packed. But this is a football town from its birth, from sports fandom. So to see the Hurricanes having the success that they're having, first time in, since the beginning of the millennium, that the Canes have been playing games that are this big, it's really cool just to see the reaction. It's fun. I love it. I'm a Canes fan.
Nice.
The only thing that I would trade any of it for would be for the Dolphins to win a Super Bowl, but who knows if that's ever going to happen in my lifetime. I've only got another 40 years or so, I would think and hope. So maybe, but no, it's, just to get back to your question, it is awesome down here. We're going crazy for the Hurricanes. It's been cool, a little unexpected, but a lot of fun. Maybe a little disappointed that we're not going to get the Carson Beck Bowl next week with Ole Miss beating Georgia last night. But again, it's so much fun. And a little unexpected. I don't think a lot of us saw it coming that they'd be this good, but maybe I'd get smacked in the face by some of my fellow Canes fans for saying that. But I can't wait. I'm pumped for next week. Let's hope they can keep it going against Ole Miss.
No, it's awesome what Mario Cristobal has done there. I think it's safe to say that the U might officially be back. So, David, enjoy tonight's game. It should be great. We'll all be watching up here on our side of things from the televised. Enjoy the in-game experience that it goes with. And best of luck rooting on the Canes in their semifinal action next weekend as well. Always appreciate your time.
Oh, I'm always happy to come on, Brennan. Appreciate you inviting me. And again, thank you for the very kind words.
You betcha. David Dwork from the Hockey News covers the Panthers and will be rooting on the Miami Hurricanes next weekend when they take on the Ole Miss Rebels. College football semifinal action. Really, really good stuff with those two upsets. Miami over OSU and Ole Miss. That was such a thriller last night, beating Georgia. That was our game of the day, the Winter Classic down on South Beach, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport Packages have arrived. Great selection, many colors to pick from. $49.9 under $50K gets you into a brand new Jeep Gladiator. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com. When we return, we will wrap up the program, see what the boys are doing here over the weekend, and we'll get to a few more text messages. 1-833-401-1440, mostly centered around the Edmonton Oilers ahead of tomorrow afternoon's game taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick, Donovan Paulson with you here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing.
Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm and act in the best interest of all pipes, whether PVC, copper, or otherwise.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter. The Junior Prospects Hockey League sports season is now underway. The JPHL offers elite athletic and academic opportunities for players in the 14U, 15U, 17U, and 18U divisions. All games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV, featuring a showcase-style schedule and competitive matchups across Western Canada. Players work with experienced coaches, trainers, and elite hockey personnel. Learn more about Western Canada's fastest-growing elite hockey development stream at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
And so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440, a proud presentation of Sports Select.
In store or online at sportselect.com. Please play responsibly.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Keep singing, dude.
Welcome back. Home stretch of the Kevin Karius Show. Donovan and Josh enjoying me humming along to our send-off song on a Friday, a little bit south of Saskatoon. What a dandy. What a ring-a-ding-dong dandy that one is. I can't believe you guys aren't right there with me, humming, singing along. You guys don't enjoy it?
Oh, it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just, I don't have the same level of cojones to hum that for our listeners to
hum. It's not like
enjoy.
I'm out here with singing my heart out. I leave that for my steering wheel most of the time. Just a little hum, just humming along. Welcome back to the program. Thank you very much for tuning in, and Happy New Year to you in case you have just recently joined us. We've had a great show. Lots of news. We have yet to really talk about Team Canada in action at the World Juniors. Tonight, they will play Slovakia in the quarterfinals. They beat Finland on New Year's Eve to secure the top spot in the pool. Donovan, I know you had Oilers and stuff, pregame, all that, but did you get a chance to watch much of that Canadian Finns game?
I got a chance to watch bits and pieces. It was here and there. I'll be honest, I found myself at certain stretches for sure watching more of that game than I should have been because of the
poor effort the Oilers were pouring out.
We'll call it lackluster effort, the disappointing effort from the Oilers. But no, I mean, Team Canada. I know there's a lot of questions about the makeup of this team. A lot of questions about a lot of those young men after their first two games. But
yeah, like people were upset because they didn't blow Latvia out of the water 10-0.
Yeah, and they turned it around, and I mean that was a beyond impressive effort. And one of the more entertaining games you'll ever see.
Yeah, and a night for the Canadian team where you don't get the A-tier goaltending that you've come to expect from Carter George. Like, he lets in 4 on just 18 shots. Not going to be very kind to your overall save percentage on the tournament, especially considering in the game against Denmark, he had like 11 shots in the game, or maybe got a couple more towards the end, but he gave up the 1 goal. So all of a sudden, you're not doing yourself any favors. But like Cole Baudouin scored twice. Tija Ginla scored on the breakaway. What a pass by Zane Parake, who continues to really impress me in this tournament. I still think like it's just natural for a player of this style. He's offensive, right? And especially when you get to the next levels, there are going to be some defensive hiccups, I think, just in the way he plays. But the skill is oozing out of him. And I think Flames fans should be very, very excited about this guy. I have to think rejoining them after this tournament is over and hopefully getting a little more playing time too.
You know what I find so funny about Zane Parekh? I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think he's going to be a hell of a player, and I love what I've seen from Parekh when I've been watching Team Canada. What I find hilarious is how much Flames fans make fun of Evan Bouchard. And then
get ready for the roller coaster,
get
folks.
ready for it, folks. Zane Parekh is going to be probably Evan Bouchard defensively, or maybe worse, but he's going to be obviously younger and less experienced. You're going to see a lot of mistakes from Zane Parekh. Like, get ready for it, Flames fans, if you're listening to this show. And obviously, Josh.
Don't care.
He is going to make a ton of mistakes, but he's going to be really good offensively. I just find it funny.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
They're dishing it out all they want right now
Yeah.
for Bouchard and have been for years. Just wait for the inevitable Zane Parekh blow up performances.
You're trying to make it sound like you haven't been dishing out to Evan Bouchard the entire time also.
Well, it's just a matter of reality.
It is. It's also different when you're doing this job. You have to acknowledge when Evan Bouchard makes his mistakes and when he's playing well. That's just the reality of the job. That's the reality of the biz.
6:30 is when they will drop the puck tonight for quarterfinal action between Canada and Slovakia. The other quarterfinal games in order. First one starting at noon is Latvia and Sweden, Switzerland and the Czechs, and then Finland and the US of A. USA 3-0-1. Sweden, top seed in the other pool as a perfect 4-0 record, which, as we've come to expect from Sweden at this tournament, is pretty much the standard. They went like 12 years without losing a round robin game. Now, that has not translated to medal round success necessarily, but still, Swedes with a really good team. States, very solid team. Will Zeller's turning some heads. It's like churning out at 2 points per game for the Americans. And I'm still keeping an eye on the pesky Czechs. This is a team that I think could still very much make some noise here before this tournament is over in, what are we talking, a handful of days' time. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Happy New Year's, guys. Love your show from Roland. Hey, Roland, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for tuning in. First-time texter, Roland. Thank you, Roland. This goes back to some of the, we were talking about the Oilers earlier in the show, lineup decisions. Quinn Hudson and Ike Howard have been recalled in case you missed it earlier this morning. You know, team's going to take the ice here if they haven't already at the morning skate. We maybe get a little bit of clarity on what the lineup might look like for tomorrow's matinee game against the Flyers. But Kent McKenzie, he was texted in, and this was more so about the Ekholm discussion. Because Phil said Broberg in, Ekholm out. That one hurts. Kent McKenzie, from the Oilers side and a fan's viewpoint, it's better that Ekholm is not on the team, that being Team Sweden. He's finally starting to look like old Ekholm. His groin needs the rest. Happy he doesn't have to play in the Olympics. Better for the Oilers playoff push. And we kind of touched on that as well. Kenneth, Mikko Lehtinen is a legend. Didn't get a fair shake in the NHL when he came over late. Isn't that always the case? We talk about these Euros that maybe don't come over until they're in their mid-late 20s. Like we just saw with David Tomaszek. Did he get a fair shake? I don't know. I think he had a pretty long look at the start of the season. And I thought played well, just simply couldn't score. Like he was on the power play out in front of the net, like cash and banging off pads, just couldn't score. And then eventually got to the point where, okay, if he's not in that spot, his impact in the lineup doesn't seem to be a particularly strong one. Best for him, maybe best for the Oilers as well. He heads back to the Swedish Elite League. I have not seen the official Czech Olympic roster if he was able to crack it. I have not seen that yet. Might be worth diving into here. Ken, Happy New Year's, guys. Do you think today's Howard Hudson call-up had anything to do with the recent trade talk? And then kind of in parallel with that, from Rod in the Valley. Just tuned in. Apologize if you already talked about it. Would we have to send someone down or a trade is coming? ? With Cappy coming back now, Howard and Hudson, how do you make the numbers work? Great show, Rod in the Valley. Well, Rod, Max Jones, as Donovan pointed out to me earlier, because I missed it, was sent down yesterday. So there's $1 million off, right? And as of right now, Kasperi Kapanen is still on LTIR. So upon his return, yes, the team is going to have to make something happen. But the Hudson and Howard recalls, I believe, still have them just under the salary cap.
And in case you're looking at Puckpedia yourself,
they haven't
right
refreshed
now,
it yet.
Yes, they have not refreshed anything. They took yesterday off, clearly. And,
but they have the transactions.
Yeah, I don't know why they haven't refreshed it yet, but I guess they've taken the day off yesterday and today and just have put out the transactions as the bare minimum. But yeah, they'll be fine salary cap wise for the time being.
Yeah.
But once Kapanen comes,
as soon as anybody is activated from injured reserve,
man, Mangiapane, it might be coming pretty quick here. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Or you send one of those guys back down immediately.
Yeah, like those are two guys that you have flexibility with because of their contracts, right? So you can send them back down as soon as you need to. But keep in mind, like with a team that is when we're talking about pre-call-ups here with Max Jones, who's $1 million, so call it a swap out for Howard, about $1.8 million in cap space. Well, I hate to break it to you, none of the players being activated I get like Kapanen would fit in under that at 1.3. But like if you're activating Wallman, you're gonna have to make something happen here.
And important to remember with Howard, it is technically a $1.6 million cap hit.
Very, very good point, Donovan. Very good point. So yeah, they're pretty much up against it. CJ in EDM. Oilers don't do that with their rookies. This is about how they're going to deploy them. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Dallas is a good example for a club that plays rookies in a top 9 role to help them develop. The Oilers sink their rookies on the bottom line, 7 minutes a game, and Frederick to play with. Very frustrating. Just watch. Both will play no minutes, no opportunity. Not your knob house to play young guys 15 plus minutes. Well, we're going to see. We'll figure that out in very short order because you have to think at least one, maybe both of those guys draws into tomorrow's lineup against the Flyers. That sound means we're done. Another week in the books. This one slightly abbreviated with New Year's Day. Thank you all very much for listening to the program today. Kevin will be back Monday morning at 7 o'clock. Coming up right after the break is Fantasy Frenzy with Connor Halley, myself, maybe even Donovan, unless he's going to go have himself a little nap before pulling the all-day shift. Lowdown with Low Tide, noon to 2, and then the Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley from 2 to 6. Tomorrow, Donovan and Andrew Walker will have pregame action beginning at 12:30. And then on Sunday, the Manib Khan Show will have you starting at 9 a.m. Have a great weekend. Happy New Year one final time to everybody. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas' premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, everybody. Here is Donovan Paulson.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
NHL action today getting underway in a couple hours time between the Blues and Golden Knights at 1 o'clock. The Winter Classic, of course, going from Sunrise, Florida in the Miami Marlins ballpark between the Panthers and Rangers. You will see the Wild in Anaheim to take on the Ducks. The Kraken, they clash with the Canucks. Some off the ice news as the Edmonton Oilers are recalling forwards Isaac Howard and Quinn Hudson. Some Olympic news: Matthias Ekholm has not made Team Sweden, and the Americans are leaving off Cole Caulfield, Adam Fox, and Jason Robertson from their roster. Some college football playoff action today getting underway in a couple minutes time. It's the Armed Forces Bowl between Rice and Texas State. The Navy and Cincinnati game, of course, that is the Liberty Bowl at 2:30. Wake Forest and Mississippi State get underway at 6 in the Mayo Bowl. and Arizona and SMU clash also at 6 in the Holiday Bowl. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.